Hello, everyone. Welcome to the channel. It's another season. Just checking that I'm all plugged in. It's another season at Tottenham Hotspur, the Europa League winners. I'm fresh out of the shower, ready for this Reading versus Tottenham Hotspur watch-along. Thank you for joining me. I've got the Spurs play on my screen next to you guys. I should be able to answer all the comments at the same time. No, Spurs play, of course, notorious during pre-season for basically dropping off very regularly. So let's see how it does. But I'm also going to be trying to find a stream on my TV as well. So let's see how we do. But as you can see down below on the strap going across the screen, that is the team we picked. I have to say, I don't know, maybe wrongly, I'm not sure, but a little bit kind of underwhelmed. Kind of nobody in the starting 11 that's like, oh, somebody new, or even kind of Matthias Tell to kind of see if he's, really improving under Thomas Frank. But lots of quality on the bench. And it was reported by Spurs when they first put their team news tweet out that Vicario was starting in goal. But in fact, it is Antonin Kinski. And I did wonder, I have to say, I don't think this is a big deal, but I did wonder whether Kinski might get some more minutes this season under Thomas Frank, who does like his keepers to be very good distributors of the ball. But more importantly, guys, how are you all? How have you done over the summer without Tottenham Hotspur playing any football? Frankly, it's been boring, hasn't it? Very, very boring. And I'm relieved that we're back in business. Godfrey Drummond saying in the comments, Gray and Tell have a break from playing in the Euros. That's right. They came back. And all of the players basically who came back late are not involved. But I would have liked to see, like Bergvall in the starting team. But here is the team. As you can see at the bottom there, Kinski, Pedro Porro and Destiny Udogie as the fullbacks. Christian Romero starts as captain with Kevin Danso alongside him. Rodrigo Bentancur and Sarr kind of playing in front of the back four, with Alfie Devine getting maybe a surprise start in what will be the number 10 role. And then Johnson, Mikey Moore and Solanke, you would have assumed. Anyway, I guess there's a chance Mikey Moore could play in the number 10 role and Alfie Devine out wide. But for me, that kind of shows early doors that Alfie Devine has impressed Thomas Frank in training. He was obviously on loan at Westerlo last year, but he's obviously impressed him. So that is good news for the young kid. Alfie Dorrington has gone off on loan again to Aberdeen this morning. He was on loan there last season and did win the Scottish Cup with them. So he has gone off on loan. You would think eventually Alfie Devine will probably go off on loan as well, but cannot say for sure. Hayley Sarah, thanks for your comment, says, looking forward to seeing Kudus get on the pitch. Couldn't agree more, Hayley Sarah. I'm looking forward to that as well. But let's see what happens. Do get your questions into the comments, guys, for sure. I'm going to need to be talking to you guys throughout because I've got no sound. At the moment, I've just got Ben Haynes and Clive Allen talking, and it's due to kick off in 2 minutes. There's no footage as yet from what used to be the Majewski Stadium, Reading Stadium. Don't know what it's called now. Something ridiculous, I would have thought. Something probably nearly as ridiculous as Everton's new stadium, which is, I believe, the Hill Dickinson Stadium. Anyway, while I kind of jabber on, I'm just going to try and find a feed if I can. I've got one on my computer, but it would be good to have one on a bigger screen, that's for sure. But yeah, obviously, let's talk whilst we're waiting about Morgan Gibbs-White, who is starting in Nottingham Forest's friendly today. I'm at a bit of a loss, really. Contractually, how does it work if... I'll tell you what, I found a stream. Fantastic. Contractually, how does it work? You have a release clause in your contract. It's triggered. So the buying team, in this case Tottenham Hotspur, have triggered the release clause, £60 million, and then Nottingham Forest seemingly able to hold the player because they're claiming some kind of problem. They're just showing Thomas Frank on the sidelines, just talking to his opposite number. Jesus Gongbath asking, what's happening with Spurs play? Well, I can't hear it, but Ben Haynes looks like he's talking to the camera. They're doing a lot of filling, Ben Haynes and Clive Allen. So they obviously got a bit of a struggle with the footage. I did tell you, didn't I? Spurs play have a real issue It seems like every preseason they have a real issue. Well, I've got a good stream here. So I can tell you that the teams are on the pitch. Spurs are having their huddle. They're kicking from right to left in the first half. Guys, can you jump into the comments every time I inevitably forget to update the scoreboard or who's on the pitch on my strap at the bottom? I'm calling on you guys, but I'm feeling for Ben Haynes and Clive Allen at the moment because I can see Spurs player on my left. Meanwhile, it's literally about to kick off at what was the Majewski. Hi, Ulrika Johnson. Good to see you. Reading are going to kick off. I can tell you that. Let me get a little bit more view. Well, it looks like, yeah, I don't have a link because I have it on a, let's just call it a very useful TV that I own. And they've kicked off. So Reading kicking from left to right, and they're immediately going to go for a long channel ball down the line. And it goes back to Kinski, who I love. I love young Kinski. I think he's going to be brilliant. Tom Bowdler says, I've not bothered to subscribe to Spurs Play for years. It's been so terrible. Yeah, listen, Ben Haynes and Clive Allen, they have not got a stream on Spurs Play, so they're having to fill. Oh, they finally got it. They're actually behind me on Spurs Play. Okay, so Kinski lays it out first off into Sarr in midfield, who goes back, and Spurs putting under some pressure. So Kinski goes long. Mikey Moore is starting on the left-hand side, I guess, as you'd expect. And he's facing his own goal now. Goes back towards Danso. Didn't appreciate that. In fact, it was Udogie. Apologies. It's a bit of a sunny day at... I'm just going to call it the Majewski Stadium because I'm old. But it's a bit of a sunny day, so it's quite difficult in and out of the shadows. But what's clear already is that Spurs still... And that's a beautiful ball from Kinski, by the way. And Devine on the ball. Plays it out wide. Tries to find Brennan Johnson, I think, down the right-hand side. But it goes off. But that was good stuff from Alfie Devine, wearing number 45 today. Haley says, feel sorry for Yang. His signing was overshadowed. He seems like he has a lot to offer. He's a very young boy, Haley, so don't worry. He's a very young boy. Bentancur gets on the ball. Lovely slip ball into Devine. Devine lays it outside, out wide. I'll tell you what, Spurs are at the byline here, and that's going to be a corner. Alfie Devine getting involved a lot at the moment. Okay, I've got a super chat from SSJ. Thank you so much. I want to watch Spurs play, but I don't want to watch Spurs play. Lol, good morning and good day to you, Barnaby. Yes, you can call me Barbaby. You can call me whatever you want. You can call me whatever you want. Guys, do press like if you're watching this watch along on YouTube, and then it'll get to more Spurs fans in their suggested videos. It's a corner to Spurs. Pedro Porro with his new peroxide hair with the outswinger. Here it comes. Comes to the near post over Romero's head, and that's cleared. And Porro gets to the clearance and lays it back to Udogie on the halfway line. And now back to Porro. And the Spurs just waiting for their team shape to get back as he plays it across to Kevin Danso wearing 4. Gives it to Mikey Moore. And Spurs just trying to keep the ball on the ground now. Kinski helps him out. Reading are pressing quite hard. Kinski with these little dink balls. He loves it. Do you remember that first game he played against Liverpool? We're seeing a bit of this as well. And Pedro Porro has just been fouled on the left-hand side there. I'll tell you what, I'm pleased I do have a stream because the Spurs play stream is very, very bitty. Very, very bitty indeed. And Porro just got a little bit of from a Reading play, a little bit of a, here I am. A little bit of an early reducer in the game. Oh, that's right. It's the stadium is the Select Car Leasing Stadium, isn't it? They've got it written on their shirts as well. They're the shirt sponsor of Reading as well. And their manager is Noel Hunt. So that's what I've learned so far today, guys. Reading go back to their goalkeeper. 3 minutes gone. And it's a long ball over the top, trying to do what lots of teams did to us last season, trying to find space in behind Pedro Porro, but he was a lot deeper than he was most of last season as Kinski finds Danso under a bit of pressure. Danso being pressed. He's still on the ball, Danso, and finds Porro. Does well there, Kev. And Porro then tries for a long ball over the top towards Solanke. And the keeper does well outside of his box there. And SSJ says, it was autocorrect, my apologies. No, don't worry, SSJ. Thank you so much. You can call me Bar Baby. It's absolutely fine. You guys can call me whatever you want. You're my favorite people in the world, my audience. Kinski, brave on the ball again. Gives it into Sarr, who goes first time to Romero, who goes to Pedro Porro. Spurs being pressed, goes down the line into Devine. Lovely stuff. Oh, an attempted 1-2 with Johnson again. Ole, ole. And Alfie Devine is working his absolute nuts off in this first 5 minutes. And the keeper clears it. Back John. Oh, I'll tell you what, Reading here just won a ball high up. But Porro does well in the second challenge there. And Bentancur helps him out. And now there's a 50-50. Reading just come the better of it. Bat John asks, what channel are you watching on, Barnes? The Spurs play quality is SHIT, you say. I'm watching it on my special TV. That's the best I can explain it. So I don't really have a link for you, I'm afraid. This is a good comment from Tom Bowdler. 5 minutes in and no dearie me from Barnaby progress. Yeah, that's true. That's true. I mean, I guess all that tells you is that we haven't just been dissected down the middle of the pitch with one pass. So I'd say Alfie Devine is playing in a very advanced kind of 10 role, almost alongside Dom Solanke. Good play there from Danso into Bentancur's feet, who opens it out to Udogie, who drives forward. I love to see Udogie when he's driving forward. Just held up just past the halfway line. Cuts inside to Solanke, holds it up beautifully and gives it back to Udogie. Lovely football from Spurs. And the Doggie's cross is blocked by the fullback for a corner. That was good stuff. And on the bench, you see Thomas Frank giving it the nod. He loves that. He loves that. And rightly so. And here's something that we've got different already from Spurs. On the bench, Justin Cochran, the assistant, and Matty Wells as well, both watching the game on their iPads. And Frank goes straight back to his bench to watch the clip, speak to his assistants. And that is something that we didn't have, obviously, with Big Ange Postecoglou, because he was a lone ranger on the bench, when he was watching Spurs, wasn't he? He just liked to deal with things on his own. He didn't ask for help from his assistants really at all. So that's a change we've got already. And a lot of Spurs fans were calling for kind of more passion and more collaboration on the bench during games, and he's shown more there, Thomas Frank. Here comes the corner. In swinger from Porro. Onto the keeper's head. He punches. Oh, and tell you what, the punch goes over, and they're one-on-one here, but okay, just from a break there, looked like they were one-on-one, but Destiny Udogie turned on the afterburners. And then Kinski tries the long ball. What a ball from Kinski out to Porro, the corner taker, wide left. And Porro goes to the back stick with a cross. I'll tell you what, it could be a penalty there on Solanke, not given. Devine keeps the ball, knocks it to Bentancur, gives it to Porro. Solanke got a big bash in the back there when the ball was in the air. Not given on the pitch, and obviously there's no VAR in this game. It was a clumsy challenge at best, you've got to say. Deary me. I mean, that's a penalty. And there we go, mate. I've given it a deary me. Lovely ball from Kinski. I'll tell you this, Kinski's distribution, so good. Udogie goes down the channel to a great run from Solanke now. He's in the box, looks for the cross. Yeah, that was almost like Ange ball in that we got to the byline, cut the ball back. It was cleared, but good football from Spurs. Scribble Scrabble says, I keep mistaking Porro for Richarlison. Yeah, he's got the peroxide hair. But this has been a good start from Spurs. And who was it I saw? I saw someone there saying in the comments that here we go. Kixil says, this all-black kit is so sexy. Yeah, I've got mine on. It's one of the best kits we've had in years, isn't it? Big Kev Danso lays it to Romero, who does his Romero thing, keeping the ball at his feet and waiting for the right pass and finds it. Udogie's finding a lot of space here. Goes again into the channel, this time for Devine, but he's quite easily knocked off the ball there. But good stuff from Devine, keeps the ball on. And Reading now under a bit of pressure. They go down the line, don't foul him. Bentancur does beautifully, and Spurs win it back. Udogie gives it to Solanke into Sarr. Lovely football from Spurs. Try and make it down the channel again, but Solanke fouls his defender in the box. Blissy asks, are the fullbacks staying wide? At the moment, yes. Udogie is very wide. No inverting at the moment. Certainly not from Udogie. 8 minutes gone at the moment. It's been a good start for Spurs. Don't forget, guys, though, we are a couple of weeks, I think, behind Reading in terms of pre-season. So it may well be that we'll start strongly and then maybe towards the back end of the first half, maybe drop off a little bit. And then I expect he'll probably make 11 changes or so at half-time. Such is the nature of friendlies. Let me know in the comments, guys, what you think of the kind of double pivot of Sarr and Bentancur. Good football so far between Spurs, trying to do it 1 and 2 touch when they can. Porro now. We're back in our own box with Romero. Goes into Bentancur's feet, takes it on the half-turn beautifully, gives it into Solanke's feet. Good defending, to be fair, there. Yeah. Solanke expected when the ball came into his feet that if he just touched it to his left, the defender would be going the other way. Actually, the defender telegraphed it and got his foot in the way and won a free kick. So Reading, what is this? About halfway into the Tottenham half, we'll have an opportunity to get it into the box. Kixhill says, definitely pressing hard and playing brave, as Thomas Frank said. And Sai's going to go well, says, wait, did Ange invert the fullbacks? I'm just going to say yes. Ange was a keen fan of inverting the fullbacks. I'm already seeing some people tweet, some Spurs fans tweeting how Kinski's distribution is sexual. That's true. So Spurs, opportunity to show what they've learned from defending set pieces under Frank so far. It's dinked to the back post. Free header at the back post. Up in the air. Kinski doesn't come for it. Chance here. This could be a goal. Porro clears it off the line. I have to say, Kinski, who I usually rate as someone who's strong, commanding his own box. Oh, shot from outside the box. Goes wide. Kinski, I usually rate for commanding his box from aerial balls. He came for it a bit late there. And as a result, a header came in and it was nearly headed in secondarily, but Porro ended up clearing it off the line. Oh, no, it didn't. It wasn't Porro. It was Bentancur who got the important last touch so that it didn't go on target. Just wide. 10 minutes gone. That was a bit of danger there for Spurs. But the good news is, even though that's not a great example of it, Thomas Frank's record at Brentford in conceding goals from set pieces was very, very good. They hardly conceded any. I think they only conceded 3 maybe last season, Brentford. So although it's very early and they'll definitely be looking to improve their set piece defending, as Kinski forced to go long there from the Reading press. I'm confident that Spurs will work to get marginal gains on those. Oh, nice attempted ball from Alfie Devine on the volley there to Brennan Johnson, who's not been in the game yet. Brennan Johnson, ole, ole, ole. Again, Johnson again, ole, ole, ole. But Reading, for a League One team, they're giving their all here. It's not easy by any means. They've got a throw in just inside their half. They go down the line. Porro being out-muscled there, but he was fouled. Kixel says, I'm excited to see Johnson's elevation under Frank. I'd just like to see Johnson be involved in the game a bit more, but at the moment they are being asked to stay very wide. The wide forward, Brennan Johnson and Mikey Moore. Spurs just chipped a ball out of play there. Reading go down the line. Big Kev Danso with an important header there. And it comes to Porro, who kind of clears it first time, where maybe he could have been a little bit more... he had a bit more time on it there, Pedro Porro, but just kicked it out of play. And it's just getting a little scrappy in the last couple of minutes. And Reading go down the line again. Danso, always good at getting in front of his man, Kev Danso. Mikey Moore does well there on the left-hand side, tries to turn his man, uses a bit of strength and was fouled at the same time. That's the first bit of play from Mikey Moore there. And he did well, got his body in the way. For me, what I need to see next from Mikey Moore is a little bit of growth physically in terms of his, getting in the gym, his stature work. He's still only 18, so, people develop at different times. He's not Wayne Rooney, let's put it that way. He's not the thinnest by any means. He's not, he's not Brian Hill, who, by the way, is nowhere near this squad. I guess he's still injured, but also he's not realistically going to play for Spurs again, Brian Hill. We need to get a transfer fee for him. Should say, by the way, of course, Josh Keeley left the club this morning to Luton for around £1 million. Good football there between Romero and Bentancur. And again, between Porro and Sarr. And Johnson goes back to Romero. Just moving Reading around there with some 1- and 2-touch stuff. Reading, they've got quite a high press on in Spurs' half. Bentancur comes and collects it off his back four. Good ball out wide to Doggy. He's really wide at the moment. He plays it inside. Bit of a heavy touch there from Moore. But Moore gets it back, goes inside to Bentancur, and it comes back again. One thing is Tottenham are not trying to spend too much time on the ball. There's a lot of 1- and 2-touch stuff. Lovely ball over the top from Romero. And Johnson again, ole, ole. He's got his first touch in the box. He cuts back, gives it inside. Lovely stuff. Comes across the box and cleared. Comes back to Johnson again, ole, ole, who's fouled. And that's a wide foul for Spurs. We'll have an opportunity to get the ball into the box there. Over 600 of you watching at the moment, guys. Thank you so much for your support. Do press that like button. If you're not already a subscriber, please do subscribe to the channel for daily Tottenham Hotspur transfer news during this window. And of course, all the news and views from White Hart Lane, etc. Godfrey Drummond in the comments saying Reading are rather aggressive. Yeah, they are. They are. It's their big day. It's a packed house. They've just cut to Johan Lang and Daniel Levy, who are both watching the game. And now to Thomas Frank on the bench, arms folded. Godfrey calls them Hackers FC. And H. Robin says the Reading press is insane. Well, you'd think Reading won't have quite as deep a squad as us. So it's good. It's good that we're having to play against this. And also it might drop off. Anyway, the free kick to be taken, you'd think, by Porro. Yeah, Mikey Moore runs over it. And Porro just going to swing it in from the right-hand side any minute. Here it comes. It's a good ball. Well defended by Reading. Comes out now to Alfie Devine. Swings one in. Good chance. And I think it's Dominic Solanke at the near post. It was a good cross from Alfie Devine. Dominic Solanke made a good run at the near post and kind of just ends up getting a toe on it, and it goes over the bar. Epec20 asking, sorry, I've done the wrong one there. Epec20 asking, who's wearing the new black away kit? I am. And said he got both home and away shirts for 13 quid each. Yeah, mine's a TikTok special. I've had it for about 3 or 4 months. I was at the parade. Don't know if you remember the parade from when we won the Europa League. I was at the parade and I was wearing my black kit, and everyone was like, is that the new kit? I was like, yes, it is. Reading dropped one over the top there, but it goes out for a throw-in. Maximum Dan, interesting one from you there, saying Solanke's hold-up play is so disappointing for a big guy. Can't get his body in between him and the ball. Totally disagree with you, actually, Dan. Maximum Dan. I thought he showed all last season that his hold-up play is really excellent. Don't forget, this is just a friendly. I think Dominic Solanke is an excellent hold-up number 9, personally. But it's all subjective, mate, and you're very welcome to your opinion. As Kinski dinks another one over towards Destiny Udogie, gets it down nicely and then drives forward. What a player Udogie is when he's at his best. And he's fouled from behind. Reading giving away yet another foul there. Enjoying this game so far for a 0-0. Let me know in the comments how you guys are feeling. Certainly looks like the players are playing. They obviously like what the manager's doing so far. They're just playing it around nicely. They've got the nice double pivot, a bit more stability in front of the back four. Lovely ball from Romero. Romero's already shown in these first 16 minutes what a brilliant ball playing centre half he is. Comes to Udogie now, cutting inside. Out to the edge of the box. Bentancur fancied a shot, tries to find Johnson again, Ole, but it's blocked. Porro gets an important touch on it, and now Kev Danso. Oh, lovely skill, Danso, as he gathered it over the defender's head and gets it back. He's made a good start to this game, Kev. Oh, and then he lays it out to Pedro Porro. Romero. Into Bentancur. Lovely on the half turn, Rodrigo, but then unfortunately trying to find a ball into Mikey Moore. And actually, Bentancur won the ball back quickly there, and then it hit his arm, but it wasn't given. It wasn't on purpose. Dirty Sanchez says Johnson won't get 10 tap-ins this season. He'll need to create. Can't see it. He's still a young kid, Johnson, though. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with him for sure. Good play there in between Sarr and Romero, opening it out. And now it comes wide to Alfie Devine. He's wearing 45. Very involved in this game, Alfie Devine. He's kind of playing that Maddison role at the moment where he's allowed to go anywhere. Sarr tries to dink one over to Johnson again. Ole, and just skipped off the turf and goes off for a goal kick. Nice stuff. Jellylegs Mick asks, will Udogie and Porro be wing-backs under Frank? Well, we're playing a 4 at the moment, so it's not wing-backs. But there is, of course, the possibility that he will play a 5 at the back or 3-5-2 at various times. And Godfrey Drummond says, yeah, good ball, unlucky there. It was a nice dink ball over the top towards Johnson. He just couldn't get in. But, yeah, it's been an enjoyable start so far. As Reading go down the line and Porro gives away a foul. And Matthew Hopkins. Yeah, I like this from Matthew as well. It's true. Good to see the lads out there being brave on the ball. Completely agree. Completely agree. Let's not forget, guys, with the Europa League winners, there'll be a nice bit of confidence through this team that we wouldn't have had a year ago. Nice bit of like, we're winners. That's a monkey off our back. We're not going to get that abuse anymore. And then add that to hopefully some positive vibes from Frank and Cochrane and the new staff. Yeah, and also just looking absolutely sweet in the black kit. Lovely ball from Porro up to Solanke. Holds it up beautifully first, but then just beaten to the ball. And then he gives away a free kick, unfortunately. Porro and Romero already showing some lovely little balls in between the lines, which I'm thoroughly enjoying, I have to say. Let's have a look on Twitter and see what Alistair Gold is saying. Solanke gets a toe onto Devine's curling cross, but can only knock it over the bar. That's right. And Alistair Gold also saying Spurs playing some quick attacking stuff so far with Alfie Devine getting high up the pitch to support Solanke. Yeah, I mean, I guess Alfie Devine is playing in the role that we're hoping Morgan Gibbs-White will play. If and when that deal goes through, which hopefully it will soon, although he is playing this afternoon for Forest. I saw someone tweet this, and I agree, actually. It'd be interesting to see whether there are any kind of waves goodbye from him towards Forest fan base after the game, akin to how Harry Kane waved goodbye to the Spurs fans a little bit after the Shakhtar Donetsk game, or at least it seemed to. Kim Nation says Danso isn't Spurs material. I disagree. I really like Kev Danso. No, lovely ball out wide from Rodrigo Bentancur. Really nice to Johnson again. Oleole turns backwards to Porro, and it comes back to Romero. Good ball in between the lines from Romero. Lovely stuff. Divine into Solanke, who's just beaten in the channel there. Beautiful stuff in between the lines. Godfrey says it's a kind of London derby, so Reading will be aggressive. I don't think Reading has ever been talked of as a London club, to be honest. But yeah, I see what you're getting at. And Dirty Sanchez says Danso is tremendous. Listen, Danso's young as well. He's only 25, so there's still places for Danso to go. And I have to say, in that I like Dragusin as well. I think Dragusin could be a good defender potentially for Frank, especially in a 3. But I think Danso has shown more in his limited time at Spurs than Dragusin did, personally. That's not me. No shade on Dragusin. He's a young boy, Radu, and I think he'll become a good player. But I like what Danso's done. I like it. And Never Red, Always Blue says Danso is a baller. Just a little break in play here as Reading have an injury in their own box. Interesting, isn't it? Just seeing that Marcus Rashford is set to join Barcelona. I mean, he's been working towards that for a long time. What have you guys been doing this summer? Let me know in the comments while there's a little bit of a break in play. 20 minutes gone. Reading 0, Tottenham 0. Spurs have had all the best of the play so far. But just a little break in play. Brian Heel says, thanks for doing the show, mate. No, listen, at the moment, loving doing my daily stuff with you guys. As soon as Spurs actually make a signing, get another kind of here we go, like we did with the original Morgan Gibbs-White stuff, I'll be back on the live streams. But it has been a bit of a slow news week other than the Morgan Gibbs-White stuff, which has been really, really fun, to be honest, because Nottingham Forest fans have just been going completely mad. And I'm sure, I wonder, it'd be interesting to hear actually whether the Forest fans are kind of regaling Morgan Gibbs-White at their friendly today, or whether they're booing him. Hansi G says Odebear and Tell must be on holiday. No, you're probably joking, but they're not involved today because they came back late from the Euros. But there is still a lot of strength on the bench. The bench is Vicario, Austin, Ben Davis, Vuskovic. It would be good to see. Ashley Phillips, Mickey van der Ven. Oh, how I love thee, Mickey van der Ven. Jed Spence would be good to see him get some game time in the second half. George Abbott, Yves Basuma, Lucas Bergvall. Can't wait to see Bergvall. Jamie Donnelly. Can't wait to see him either. Sonny, Will Lancashire, Yang, and of course, Mohammed Kudus. Seafowl asks, would you say we're playing better than Ten Hag's Bayern team at the moment? Well, I think you mean Bayer Leverkusen. They got absolutely humped yesterday, didn't they? By, I think it was Botafogo's under 21s or something. But look, it's early days in preseason. Preseason, you know, it's about getting minutes in your legs more than anything. But it's nice to see just in this first 20 minutes as the game kicks off again. By the way, it's nice to see Spurs playing some good 1 and 2 touch stuff. Oh, Doggy breaking down the left again, and then gets a big old deep cross in. Johnson again, Ole, is it? Yeah, number 22. And he's tackled there, goes out for a throw-in. Blissy says, I'd like to see Romero, Danso, and Mickey in a 3 at the back. I think you probably will at some point. I'm pretty confident you will. Where are you guys on Romero at the moment? Are you any more confident that he might stay at the club? Lovely ball. Again, it's Divine getting involved a lot. He just lost it there. Looked like he might get a free kick, but it wasn't given as the Reading try a high ball. Danso shows some strength. The new doggy helps him out. Goes out for a Spurs throw. Yeah, where are you on Romero? I just have a feeling, I've said it in a few videos, say it again, I have a feeling that if Frank offers Romero and says, I want to make you my captain, I want you to be the leader, and the Hansi G's just saying that there, I think there's a chance that maybe, as Mikey Moore loses the ball there, I think there's a chance that could inspire him to really want to stay at the club, certainly for another year, and see if he can lead us to something really seriously impressive. That's kind of how I feel at the moment. And of course, he did lead the team. He started the Europa League final as captain. Actually, to such a degree, I guess there was a bit of an argument to suggest maybe Sonny could have lifted the trophy with Romero, but obviously Sonny's been at the club 10 years and he really deserved that moment. As Reading try a ball down the channel, but it goes straight out of play. DJ19 says, Romero, big coin to Real. I just don't know if Real have got the money that it's going to take to get Daniel Levy to go, yeah, you can, that's okay. I think it's going to take 80 million and rightly so. Yeah, good point from Blissy, says Romero stays if we sign good players. Reading pressing us at the moment with four players on the front line. And Spurs so far all day have just been picking them off and playing balls in between the lines as, well, Bentancur plays it out to Porro under pressure. Lovely header from Porro to Pat Matar now, who opened his body up, gets it into Devine, but Devine tackled again. Sarr really didn't give him much there, and Porro does beautifully to win the ball back and goes back to Kinski. Kinski straight away into Bentancur's feet. He turns, and he's just waiting for options. Gives it to Sarr, lovely, and Sarr now has a bit of space, and Devine always open for the ball. Good stuff from Devine. Gives it to Johnson again. Ole. Comes back to Pedro Porro, who gives it to Romero, and then Bentancur in midfield and opens it out to Kev Danso again. It's good control play from Spurs so far. A lot less kind of kamikaze than Ange ball, but you'd probably say if Ange was still manager, we'd probably be winning 2-1 at this point, I would think. Anyway, Spurs coming forward with Kev Danso. Gives it to Mikey Moore. Not been involved too much at the moment, Mikey Moore. Danso brings it again and is fouled. Kev Danso has started this game, and Reading have given away a lot of fouls so far in this match. But I've been very impressed so far with Udogie on the left-hand side. Every time he's picked up the ball, he's wanted to drive down the line. And Reading haven't been able to deal with him quite yet. Nice ball from Danso inside to Pat Matar, who's Alfie Devine again. He wants the ball all the time, but he's just being tackled every so often here. Oh, good little 1-2 from Reading there. They had some time in midfield. Good pressing from Spurs. And Solanke gives away another foul. Looked like shoulders. Tom Bowder asks, is Jamie Donnelly on the bench? He is. Yeah, I'm intrigued as to whether he or Devine are close to the first team. Yeah, Donnelly is on the bench, so there's a good chance we'll see Donnelly. Second half, I would have thought. Godfrey Drummond says, I could only see City making a huge bid for Romero if they were to get a nasty injury or two at centre half. Yeah. I mean, City have just signed a £1 billion kit deal with Puma. Completely ridiculous. So once again, you know, they won't have any problem spending money. Not that they ever did. 26 minutes gone. Still 0-0. Tony Barros says, game is kind of whack. I'll watch second half when Kudus comes on. Yeah, I can understand why you'd say that. It's not whack. It's just kind of a bit tactical at the moment. And Deck Gem says, let Sonny take a free kick this season. I miss Sonny bangers. Good ball from Reading there into the box. Good defending from Kev Danso, though. Clears it with a diving header. Lovely stuff. Reading, just as I kind of spoke about earlier on, Tottenham have just dropped off a little bit in probably through fatigue, and Reading getting on the ball as a result as they play one down the left-hand channel, and a good tackle from Romero, his first sliding challenge of the season. Yeah, I haven't mentioned actually, but Hansi G says no Richarlison. He's not in the squad today, and nor is Manos Solomon. How do you feel about that? I think that is a little bit of a... Ali Gold said it's not an injury, so it's not an injury for Richarlison, sorry. There is an injury to Solomon. So it could be a bit of a signal there that maybe Richarlison has a potential move on the cards, although Thomas Frank did speak in the press conference this week and said he thinks Richarlison's a good forward, so who knows. Good work there from Dom Solanke working back. Comes back to Kinski. He beats the presser with a little flick and then tries to play the ball out to Johnson, but his first bit of poor distribution there from Antonin Kinski. Ulrika Johnson asks, is Devine playing well? He started really well, and what I like about him for a kid is he always wants to get on the ball, but he's just had his pocket pinched a few times in the last few minutes. And Reading getting on the ball again. Solanke, as ever, a willing presser and runner. And Reading play a poor ball out there that finds Udogie straight away, and he goes to Danso, who turns. Maximum Dan says, Danso is fantastic on the ball. I agree. I don't know if he's fantastic on the ball. He's had a good start, but he's comfortable on the ball without looking like a Rolls Royce in any way. He's quite clunky looking, but he's brave, that's for sure. And that's what Thomas Frank will want. Reading just pressing very narrow here. And actually, I think it was Divine there, made a good run over the top, looking for a ball from Romero over the top, but he wasn't interested in it. The Spurs keep the ball as a result, and it's back at Romero's feet now. He goes into Bentancur's feet, first time to Dan. So that's something I've really noticed. These little balls into Bentancur and into Sarr from the centre-backs, and then in one touch, the ball goes back to them. Little ball in down the line here for Mikey Moore, but well defended, to be fair. And good stuff from Reading down the right. But again, Danso doing well. But yeah, these little balls into the 2-6s, they are always giving options to the centre-halves. They get it off the centre-back and then in one touch, play it out wide, one touch back, make the presser move around. And very often that this has happened, Spurs have found some space in our own half. So, yeah, at the moment, the quietest members in the Spurs team, definitely Brennan Johnson on the right and Mikey Moore on the left. But Spurs have pickpocketed there, and it comes into Mikey Moore. Oh, that was a shame. Spurs had a good chance there to maybe create a shot. Anyway, Porro's done well on the right. And here's Pat Matasar on the right-hand side. Johnson with a good cross here. Oh, just headed away from Solanke's head and Reading clear it. It was good stuff from Spurs. Romero now on the halfway line. Oh, he's been pushed over there. Romero did well to get his body in between himself and the striker, who's much quicker than him, and spotted an opportunity as the ball was bouncing around. And then managed to win the foul. Used his experience there, Romero. Yeah, it's a foul, definitely. Half an hour gone. Reading 0, Tottenham Hotspur 0. Spurs' first pre-season game of the 25-26 year. Tall Corpuscle says, pretty piss poor start. When are they going to get a goal? Spurs, that is. They're doing okay. Poor ball from Danso there, but it's one back. Bentancur slips it into Mikey Moore. He's got some space to run into now. He's going to slip in Udogie, you would have thought. Could have put it further ahead of Udogie there, but Udogie now gives it back to Mikey Moore on the edge of the box, looking for something, tries to shoot into the far right-hand corner, but it's blocked. And Udogie wins it back, though. We're in the box again here. He might have a dig here. Cuts it back, Udogie. Comes to the edge of the box, and Divine, unfortunately, his touch falls away from a Spurs player. That was a good couple of minutes there, from a couple of phases there from Spurs. Oh, Pedro. Oh, I tell you what. Pedro Porro has just been hacked down. You don't see many bookings in friendlies, but that is a shameful challenge. That is actually one of those ones where maybe the ref should speak to the manager and say, call him off. Porro, absolute. So, but the ball came to Porro on the bounce, and he's seen an opportunity to flick it past the defender down the line. It's a great touch, and he's in down the line here, Porro. And this, oh, honestly, and it's high as well. He gets him high. Oh, that is a shameful challenge. Do you know what? Porro's lucky he didn't catch him with his studs, but he caught him as Porro's racing down the line. He caught him around the knee. Yeah, it's on the thigh. It's actually on the thigh. And he's trying to apologize, but that is an absolutely shameful challenge. Deary me. And Porro's like, what? You're keeping him on? Jesus Christ. Honestly, in a competitive game, it's Mark Mahoney is his name. In a competitive game, he would be sent off there. He got absolutely mugged off, and he's thanking the ref, and rightly so. Nobody wants red cards in friendlies. It wouldn't actually benefit Spurs because we need to play against 11. We need to get minutes in the legs properly. But that was ugly. Deary me. Tom Bowdler says they're brave assaulting our players with Romero on the pitch. Yeah, really good point. Guys, just with just over 10 minutes to go till halftime, do get questions in at halftime. We'll talk a bit about this game, but also I'll be answering any questions you guys have got. First watch along since last season. And that is a ball was played over the top towards Brennan Johnson, who's had a bit of a short haircut, Brennan, and it goes off for a goal kick. Hansi G rightly says we don't need injuries. Maximum Dan says, nice to see our fullbacks. Oh, sorry, not one. That one. Nice to see our fullbacks wide, says Maximum Dan. Yeah, I mean, it's just a different style from Thomas Frank, isn't it? It's a different style. Reading go long again. Pedro Porro deals with it, and it's a Spurs throw in our own half. Nonny Pony says, where can we watch this live for free so we can watch with you? Well, you can watch on Spurs Play, which is a subscribe. You have to subscribe to it on Tottenham's website. Or other than that, you're going to have to find a stream somewhere online. I have a special TV. That's it. The whole Spurs fan base are singing Sonny's chant, and Sonny's clapping them back. He didn't look. Yeah, he looked a bit sad there. Oh, good turn there from Alfie Devine, and does well. Actually, it was Mikey Moore who finds Alfie Devine. Apologies. And now we're in down the right with a Johnson again. Ole. He gets a good cross in there. It's well blocked, but chance for Solanke. Goes with the overhead kick, and that'll be a foul. As it's brave defending, and he got his head in the way there. Good cross there. That is what Johnson again. Ole is really brilliant at down the right. Is when he sees an opportunity to cross it in between the defenders and the keeper. And it was just a good block from the defender there, but it caused a bit of havoc in the Reading defence. Kixel asks, give me one player from last season's squad that think Thomas Frank will have the biggest impact on. Well, I'm going to say Destiny Udogie at the moment. He just looks so confident out wide and having all that space to run into. We get to see his pace a lot more. And it's only been 35 minutes, but I've seen like 4 or 5 occasions with Udogie showing his pace already. That because he was kind of having to run into the number 10 position where so many bodies were under Ange Postecoglou, you didn't get to see it all that much. And he is just a brilliant footballer. Reading go for the long ball down the channel again. Udogie has got the pace sorted there, and he's just trying to let it go out for a throw-in, and he achieves that. Tottenham have a throw in their own corner. Jazzles says £5 to stream on Reading's website. So if you want to watch it on a kind of temporary thing for not too much money, that's how you can do it. Whereas Spurs play, they'll basically make you pay for the entire year, subscribe to it. I think it's like 50 quid or something. 36 minutes gone, 9 minutes till half time. Ali Gold describes that horrific tackle as a poor late lunge on Porro. Lots of people saying how Destiny Udogie looks very sharp. I would say that's an understatement. He's looking absolutely great at the moment. All the Spurs players on the subs bench are warming up. They're getting a good reaction from the Tottenham crowd. Strangely, a lot of Spurs seats free in the Spurs end. I looked at tickets and people were trying to resell them on for a lot of money. So maybe that's why. Anyway, Papsar on the pitch, on the ball now, gives it to Bentancur, plays a nice ball into Devine, whose first time ball to Porro is beautiful. Spurs breaking forward inside right position. Porro goes for the early cross. It's just over Solanke's head. Don't mind that at all, though. If we get more crosses into Solanke this season, then he will score more goals. Nonny Pony asks, Barnaby, do you watch just Tottenham games usually, or do you watch most games? Do you mean in terms of watch-alongs, or do you mean in general? I watch a lot of football in general. But in terms of doing watch-alongs, I mainly only do Spurs stuff. Romero on the ball now on the halfway line. He lets Bentancur take it off him. Bentancur looking for options, turns away from his man. Gives it to Danso. Danso playing on the left of the two centre-backs in the 4. Romero on the right. George Achilles, follow him on Twitter if you don't. He says, I like how we can instantly see Frank's ideas being deployed. As Johnson is tackled on the right-hand side, it goes off for a throw-in. Yeah, so Nonny, last season I was doing watch-alongs on We Are Tottenham TV and Chris Cowlin's channel. During pre-season, I'll definitely be doing watch-alongs on my channel. And I'm not sure about for the league season yet, but as soon as I know, I will let you guys know for sure. Really enjoying this watch-along at the moment. Please, guys, if you haven't already, do give the video a like. The more likes we get, the more Spurs fans will see this watch along. And if you're not a subscriber to my channel, if you like daily Tottenham transfer content during the window, give me a little subscribe and press that notification button as well. Oh, Mikey Moore does beautifully down the left, beats both men. He's in the box. Oh, and then do you know what? He could have laid it back to Alfie Devine on the edge of the box. He would have had a great chance of a shot at goal. And instead, he kind of, I don't know in the end if it was a cross or not. But anyway, they're showing the replay. He drives down the left, and then he brings 2 players to him and then nutmegs them. One of them drives into the box. And in the end, I think he was trying to cross it towards Solanke along the floor, but it would have gone into the keeper's arms. And he should have slipped in Alfie Devine. It's a corner to Spurs. Safe Hand says, you beg for likes too much. I'm afraid it's just the YouTube playbook, mate. That's how it works. Sorry about that. Sorry you don't like it. Thanks for your engagement. Good corner from Porro. Chance. Oh, great save from the keeper from a shot that may have been from Bentancur. The first ball was headed, I think, to the feet of Bentancur, who got a great shot on it. And the keeper's reactions to his right, absolutely brilliant save. And it's a free kick to Reading. But here it comes in. Yeah, first clearance. No, it was Pap Sarr with the shot. Pap Sarr, really good save because he got a lot on it. But Spurs causing trouble from the attacking corner, and that's something again that I think we'll see more of from Thomas Frank's team this year. He loves marginal gains. He loves trying to really coach teams into finding ways to score goals, and set pieces I think will be one of those ways. Reading, there's just a bit of head tennis in central midfield now. Alfie Devine gets under it. Beautiful touch from Devine, and then unfortunately tries to play a little ball into Johnson. That Reading pick it off. And now Devine once again showing his fitness, pressing the keeper all the way. I think Devine may have been picked today because his fitness is absolutely magnificent. Bit of a poor 50p header from Udogie there. Nearly gave some space for Reading to attack, but Reading have chosen to come the other way and play backwards. They're just under pressure on their own halfway line now, and then they drop one. Solanke pressing so hard. He never stops, does he, Dom? Cringe Lord says, I want Ange back. Wayne Waters says, on holiday in Greece watching. Cheers for doing this, mate. No problem, Wayne. I'm jealous of your Greek holiday. Where in Greece are you? But thank you for watching. I really appreciate all of you guys and all your support. It's 40 minutes gone, 5 minutes till half time. It's looking like this is probably going to stay 0-0 at half time, but it's been a good run out for the boys who've started this game. Spurs are expected to make 11 changes at half time. Dirty Sanchez says, the Oakland Raiders black with silver trim was the best ever strip in sport. This is close. Great strip. Now, I'm going to get this wrong, I think, but was it previously the LA Raiders and now they're Oakland Raiders, or was it previously the Oakland Raiders and now they're the LA Raiders? Not really sure. Pat Matassar just goes down there, but he's helped up by the referee. Bobfish 2001. Hey, Barnaby, also known as Noodlehead. I've had a lot of nicknames in my time, but that's the first. Can you see a difference in the tactics so far? Yeah, I mean, some good 1- and 2-touch stuff between the centre halves and the 2-6s. And the fullbacks, especially Destiny Udogie, staying a lot wider than they were under Ange Postecoglou. Dirty Sanchez says they were originally the Oakland Raiders, and Gareth says they're now the Las Vegas Raiders. Franchises moving about. So weird. So weird. Tuastala says, great to see Vuskovic and Phillips on the bench. Well, you'd like to think, wouldn't you, that Vuskovic will get some game time. Bit of pressure on Kinski here, but he plays the ball out well to Porro, who does beautifully with the first touch. Doesn't quite get enough on his pass, though. Reading win it back. Anurag says, cheers from India. Thank you for watching, mate. Really appreciate it. Spurs win it back in midfield now. Johnson plays a good ball into Solanke. Oh, but his first touch Solanke was bad, so it's held us up a little bit. He plays it outside to Udogie. We had a chance to really get on the transition there, but showed a little bit of fatigue and rustiness, which you'd expect, wouldn't you? It's our first game playing this season. Ball comes to Romero. So when we have the ball with Romero, basically he's got Bentancur and Sarr just in front of him, trying to get little balls off him. And then, as they're pressed, and the ball now falls at the feet of Mikey Moore, tries to slip in Solanke, and the ball is just a bit heavy. Again, showing a little bit of rustiness from Mikey Moore there, but good stuff. Yeah, what I was just saying is, so when Romero has the ball, or Dancer has the ball, he has Bentancur and Sarr just in front of him looking for little 5-yard balls. And then when they are pressed, with Reading playing a bit of a 4-man press at the moment, Romero obviously is more than good enough to just slip it in between those two players into the feet of Alfie Devine or Mikey Moore or Brennan Johnson as Romero heads it back to Kinski. Be interesting to see if Vicario comes on at halftime. You'd assume he will. So that's where it's kind of different. Whereas with Ange, certainly you would only have one number 6 coming to get the ball, and that would often make it more difficult for Romero or his centre-half partner to find an easy option. It basically feels safer, you know. I mean, nothing I say is going to surprise you, I guess. Bentancur tries a long ball over the top towards Johnson again, ole, but the centre-back wins the first one. But Porro picks it off. Lovely little 1-2 between Porro and Sarr. And now Porro with a chance to cross. He gets an early cross in. It's too deep again. But I don't mind that, like I said. Comes through Doggy. Oh, his first touch is heavy. Oh, but he wins it, and then he wins a foul. Might play on here, and then he's fouled again, but comes into Moore. Moore gets an early cross, and this is a good cross. And the keeper punches it away for a corner. We're in the last minute of the half, and Spurs are going to have a corner. Norbert says Moore needs game time. I think a loan move is good for him. There has been some talk in the last 24 hours of the potential of Mikey Moore getting a loan this season, but he is an excellent deliverer of the football. If I were him at this stage of his career, I'd basically... Oh, the corner comes in. It's another corner. We will get time to see this one as well. He's such a good deliverer of the football from the left. I would just basically say, try and get Mikey Moore in the positions on the left so he can cut in on his right and get that ball in towards the far post. DJ19 says Bentancur is the 6. Yeah, Bentancur and Sarr basically both playing in the 6 roles, I'd say. Kind of double pivot. Oh, we flicked that corner on at the near post. It was Bentancur, but it was just cleared. Now Bentancur gets it back to Porro. Porro's going to try and dig it in with his left foot. Oh, it's over the keeper's head. Big chance. Romero at the back post. And that will be half-time, you would have thought. Oh, no, the refs found a minute extra. It was a great ball on his left foot from Pedro Porro. Romero comes in at the back post and then it kind of just skews off the side of his head and wide. But Spurs getting a lot more crosses in than they have in the majority of the time under Ange Postecoglou there. And good stuff. And in Pedro Porro and Mikey Moore, they have really good crosses of the ball. Still 0-0. That will probably be it, I think. Geek Jinx, a few of you just talking about the kit. Geek Jinx made a good point here. I think the Ajax black with the red, green, and yellow fixtures are a great kit until UEFA banned it for being too reggae. I think it was a nod, wasn't it, to Bob Marley and reggae. I didn't know UEFA had banned that. But Arsenal have tried to copy it, haven't they, with their Arsenal kit? That's half-time, guys. Reading 0, Tottenham 0. Jackie Boy Johnson asks, is it correct that Dortmund have an interest in Mikey Moore? I haven't read about that, but it wouldn't surprise me in the slightest because Dortmund love to kind of cherry pick the best young English talent where they're maybe not getting as much game time as they want. Listen, if we could get a loan, I'll tell you what, they've just cut to Thomas Frank, who's already on the pitch with his whiteboard, with his little player badges on, not badges, what would you call them? Little, red and blue. He's on the kit. He's on the right. So Frank is on the pitch with the subs here in a little huddle with his whiteboard, kind of chess pieces. He called them little pieces, red and blue pieces, and he's showing the players who are going to come on at halftime on the pitch what they're going to do in the second half with his whiteboard. I mean, this is the very opposite of what you would do, of what Ange Postecoglou would do. So coming on, by the looks of things, will be Vicario, Bergval's there, Van der Ven's there, Bissouma's there, Vuskovic, and they're actually they're zooming in on the pieces. You can almost see what he's saying to them tactically. I think he's basically asking us when we've got the ball to be higher up the pitch, to squeeze it a bit more. So Ben Davies will come on, Son will come on, Bergval will come on, Spence will come on, Bassoum will come on. Spence and Bassoum have actually already got their training tops off. I haven't seen something like this since Phil Brown, the manager of Hull, when he kept the players on the pitch after the game that they'd lost and admonished them on the pitch. And then if you remember famously, when Jimmy Bullard scored a goal for Hull a few weeks later, he did that as a celebration on the pitch. It's just something you don't often see. But interestingly, Kinski has stayed for this conversation. So I wonder if Kinski's going to stay on for the short term. Really fascinating to see this. Why is Frank... I guess Frank's doing this because there's probably just literally not enough room in the changing room for all of them to do this. So it's easier to actually get the instructions into the players without the players who've just come off and are getting changed and jumping in the showers. It's probably pretty smart, isn't it? It's pretty smart. And now it looks like they're basically going to warm up. They're going to warm up over half time. You don't see this, but it's actually pretty fucking smart. They're going to warm up at half time on the pitch as kind of an 11. I don't mind it. Thomas Frank, visionary. I don't know. Let me know if you can think of a time. If you can think of a time where it's happened before. I'm going to. Well, when am I going to do this banner? do it now, I guess. I will try and... You get your questions in the comments, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and change the team as close as I can to what I think it will be for the second half. So I think it'll be Vicario. Davis, you'd think, would be left back. Spence, right back. So Spence... Just so I've got the strap across the bottom, guys. Apologies that this isn't the most fascinating content of all time. But mind you, maybe you can help me with what you think the team will be in the second half. So I think it'll be Vicario, Spence, Davis. Let's go Vuskovic and Van der Ven. That's what I'm going to guess it'll be. And then I think it'll be Bissouma and Bergvall. Do you think Donnelly will start? Maybe Donnelly will start in the... It's Bissouma and Bergvall. Maybe Donnelly will start in the Alfie Devine role in the 10. So I'm going to leave him there. And then I'm going to say Son, Kudus. They're just doing some training drills there at half-time. It's quite interesting to see. And then I'm going to say it's going to be Son, Kudus, and Lancashire. That's going to be my guess. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so let's see how right I am. I'm going to put this at the moment as the strap, guys. Let me know what you think. This is the team I think it's going to be second half. Vicario, Spence and Davis as fullbacks, Vuskovic and Van der Ven as the centre halves, and then Bissouma and Bergvall in front of them, with Donnelly in that Alfie Devine role in the 10, and then Son on the left, Kudus on the right, and Lancashire up front. How right do you think I'll be? I'm just pulling that from from guesswork more than anything else. Brian Lamar asks, is Richie injured? No. According to Alistair Gold today, Richarlison is not injured, but Manor Solomon is. So it looks very much like Richarlison, I don't know, maybe he has a potential move. There was some talk last week that Palmeiras were interested in spending the money that they got from the Club World Cup, potentially in bringing Richarlison back to Brazil. And of course, we know Richarlison wants to be the Brazilian number 9 for the World Cup next summer. So if that was a move he fancied and they were willing to give us, I'd say, if they were willing to give us 35 million quid or something, then that is a move that might make sense for all parties. 7-11 Evan says, cannot believe people are so negative after a 0-0 half in a friendly. We could have scored, players are rusty. Yeah, I don't see any negativity here personally. I think we're seeing some patterns. We're seeing a little bit more pragmatism in terms of the two central midfielders. We're seeing some good little 1 and 2 touch stuff. We're seeing already, I think, how talented Udogie is on the left when he's playing out wide. We're seeing how good Christian Romero is when he's got a bit more stability around him and therefore can concentrate more on just playing those lovely between the lines balls. We're seeing more crosses come into the box. We are rusty, so a lot of the crosses are a bit deep, but getting more crosses in the box from the likes of, in this instance, Mikey Moore on the left and Pedro Porro on the right, and Brennan Johnson got a good cross in that was blocked. That will lead to more goals from Dominic Solanke this season than we had last season. So a lot of positive signs as far as I'm concerned. But, listen, I'm also aware a lot of people, they expect us to go away in our first friendly match to a League One side and win, 6-0. That's not going to happen. Reading are 2 weeks ahead of us in terms of pre-season. They started their pre-season 2 weeks before us. So they're going to be fitter. And, we just started a new manager. They're showing the replay there of probably our best chance from a corner. The ball fell to Pat Matasaru, hit it really well on the half volley, and it was a good save from the keeper. Geek Jinx says Takai's on the bench. I can tell you this, he is not on the bench. Takai, because he only got his work permit earlier this week, he hasn't had enough training. So that is why he's not involved. And Voided AV asked, is Takai there? That is why he is not. Hansi G says no Gray. No, Archie Gray and Matthias Tell were both involved in the European Under-21, so came back late, and that's why they're not involved. Ryan Glorious has got to play Yang. Be interesting to see if Yang gets any minutes. I would have thought Yang is lined up for a loan again this season. He did pretty well on loan at QPR last year. And it wouldn't surprise me at all if Yang got another loan move, but remains to be seen. Thomas Frank will, of course, just be eyeing all these players up, checking them out in training. How good are they? What can they do? How well will they fit into my style of play? Tom Bowder asks, who's your standout player from the first half? I definitely think Destiny Udogie. I love how Alfie Devine was desperate to get on the ball, but he just showed a little bit of, it might have been nerves, but also maybe just a little bit of lack of experience, probably trying to do things a bit more difficultly, in a bit more of a difficult way than he needed to, and lost the ball a number of times as a result. But the most important thing, a player of his age and a player of his kind of stature and status within the squad, always wanting to get on the ball, and players are giving him the ball, and as a result, you can tell that they think he's a good talent. Godfrey Drummond talking about the interesting thing about how Thomas Frank gave his second half instructions to the 11 changes on the bench who have come off the bench. So he gave it on the pitch at half time. Godfrey says, brilliant grassroots tactics. When I've had 18 or 19 to choose from during preseason, the changing room is poxy. We stayed outside to do the team talk and refreshments and treatments. And they're just showing Spurs now doing some lineups. Will Lancashire and Vuskovic have still got purple bibs on, as does Jed Spence. I don't know if that means they're not going to be coming on. I think that might just be for a drill at halftime. Let's see what happens. TSOM says, excited to see Vuskovic and Donnelly in the same team. Powerful. Mike Rochburn says, strap at the bottom, eh? Kinky, yeah. Yeah, invested during the off-season in StreamYard finally. Thanks for noticing, mate. Appreciate it. Gary Riddell says, very clever warming up the second half team before coming on. Geek Jinx, somebody must have asked about James Maddison. Yeah, Maddison is still on the way back from injury, as of course is Dejan Kulusevski. He will be a lot longer, I think, Kulusevski. Just the players warming up here. Sonny, Davis, Donnelly, Bissouma, Bergvall, Van der Ven, Vuskovic, Spence, Lancashire, and Bissouma. I mean, if that's the case, if they are the players coming on, then I've absolutely nailed it. Super J3600 disagrees with me and says, Devine is god awful. I'm at the game. He's been dreadful. Madders has no worry. He's just lost the ball a few times, but he's always wanted the ball. So I don't think he's dreadful. He's just young. So I don't have any problem with that. TSOM says, not much quality on display. More was the shining light in that first half, but it was fairly poor. Listen, guys, I think, just rust, guys, just rustiness. There's no chance whatsoever to expect these players under a new manager and, all this kind of rustiness to rip teams open. And bear in mind also, Reading will be absolutely pumped for this. Pre-season friendly at their ground where it's a full house, against a team 2 divisions above you. So they're going to, of course, work their absolute nuts off. Just seeing some tweets here. Let's see what people are saying. Udogie and Porro being given that freedom of roaming out wide gives them so much more. Who'd have thought wingbacks suit playing out wide as opposed to being used as inverted fullbacks? So a little bit of negativity pointed towards Ange there, but that's okay. It's not how I feel. I think they're good at both things. Look, I'm enjoying it. I have to say I'm enjoying it. But let's see what else you guys are saying in the comments. Jackie Boy Johnson says, I'd be happy if Moore went to Dortmund. I'd be happy if he went to Dortmund on loan. I think it'd be a great move for him on loan. But I certainly wouldn't want to lose Mikey Moore. That's for sure. Full time. Andy Awo Briggs says, Carlos Baliba from Brighton. That's number 6 we need. Better than Wharton, better than Rios, better than the best. A beast of a baller. Excellent ball carrier. Superb distribution. All right, Andy, thanks for that. How much do you think we'd have to pay Brighton to get him off their books? Obviously, Brighton now used to having their players taken by Chelsea and Chelsea paying £100 million for them all. So that's not something that realistically we're going to pay. That's for sure. Geek Jinx, thank you, mate, says there's a crazy amount of talent on those young boys at Tottenham. Talking about Mikey Moore again. If he goes on alone, that could be great for him, but I suspect Frank can do more with him. Yeah, I agree. Totally. JR Martinez says, is Spurs play worth getting? Thinking about getting it just for pre-season, then cutting it off. Should I get it and stay or just do that? I think you have to pay. I could be wrong, but I think you have to pay a one-off fee of like 50 quid. So even if you cut it off, you'll still have paid that 50 quid. So you might as well, if you're going to get it and then keep it for the season. Blissy says, if Frank can get Devine going, we sign Morgan Gibbs-White, then the pressure will be on Maddison. I don't think there'll be any. I think in this role that Devine's playing today, Maddison could be absolutely outstanding. He's playing as a kind of genuine, what I'd call a genuine number 10, really close to the striker, getting on the ball a lot from little passes in between the lines from Porro, from Romero. And I think James Maddison would absolutely revel in that position, as would, I have to say, Deki Kulusevski as well. Gary Riddell says it's £45 for Spurs play. Body, Mind, Spirit says, show us the lineup. The best I can do at the moment is have it on the strap at the moment, at the bottom, sorry, guys. But that team at the bottom is guesswork for the second half because we haven't been told what the team will be in that second half. The coaches currently are all talking together. Matty Wells, Thomas Frank, and two of the other coaches with Thomas Frank's cute little whiteboard and his chess pieces about how to do it in the second half. Looks like Frank has started having a good relationship with Matty Wells. Vicario comes over to Frank to ask him a question. Seems like a good relationship with all of them at the moment. Keith Browning says, we need a keeper. What makes you say that, Keith? I don't think that's true. I like Kinski and I really like Vicario. I think we've got two. I would say we've got two of the best kind of keeper options in the Premier League, actually. I really would. Gary Riddell says, I bought it, but still listening to you, Barn, from California. Cheers, Gary. Legend. Absolute legend. I promise as soon as we get the lineup, guys, I will let you know. Hamdan asks, any news on Gibbs White? Not at the moment, only that he's playing for Nottingham Forest today in their friendly against Monaco. So we'll keep an eye on what happens there. In fact, why don't I have a quick look to see how that friendly is going? Let's have a look. Excuse my silence. I'm just trying to find out whether Gibbs White started for Forest. I think he did. Actually, I know he did start Forest, but whether he has got involved or scored for Nottingham Forest in that first half. Let's have a look. Man United 0-0 at home to Leeds. Is that actually at Old Trafford? That can't be at Old Trafford, can it? They wouldn't play a friendly so early. Forest are 0-0 at home to Monaco in their friendly. Is that actually at home? Not sure. Anyway, Frank now having a word with Son Heung-min as Sonny is just putting on his shin pads. Jed Spence definitely coming on. Bergvall definitely coming on. I think I'll be really close with that team that I've guessed there as the teams come back out on the pitch. Body, Mind, Spirit says we should get Vanderson for Monaco. He's been on our list for a while, Vanderson. He's a fullback option, isn't he, as well as being able to potentially play in one of the two centre-backs. So that's good. Brian Lamar says, man, we need a bad man striker. Dom is not but he is decent. I like Dominic Solanke. I think if we make him more chances this season, I really think he'll score a lot of goals. Don't forget, he scored 20 league goals for Bournemouth. So I think if we give him enough chances, we can score a lot of goals. Donnelly is definitely coming on as well. Lancashire is coming on. I honestly think, guys, I don't want to blow my own trumpet here, but I think I've probably got really close. Bissouma definitely coming on. I think I've got close with this guest second half team. What does that say about me? Does that just show that I really know my onions? Is that what that shows? Let's have a look. TSOM says, Dom isn't the right player if we're chasing a goal. He is, however, a great holding centre forward and is invaluable if we're holding on to a lead. I'd like to see a fast on the shoulder player added. Yeah, Gary Riddell says, with all these crosses, Dom will score 20. Yeah, look, let's see what happens. Okay, the teams are back out on the pitch. Spurs players, as far as I can tell, haven't shown what the team's going to be yet. But it looks like Donnelly's wearing 80. Ben Davis is on. Sonny is on wearing number 7. Okay, here's the team. Spence. Vuskovic. Van der Ven. Ben Davis, yeah. Bissouma. Bergvall. Donnelly in the 10. Son on the left. Kudus on the right. Will Lancashire. I absolutely nailed it, guys. I shouldn't be this excited, but I guessed what the second half team would be, and I nailed it man for man. Quite an exciting team. Kudus starting on the right will be good to see. Be interesting to see what shape Sonny is on the left. Hopefully he's had a good rest. And obviously Lucas Bergvall and Bissouma, two ball-playing sixes, like pivots. And of course, Vuskovic making his first start for Tottenham Hotspur. And Vicario in goal goes long with his first kick. Oh, it's a great kick over the top. Lancashire's in here. Oh, but it just bounces through to the keeper. Mark says, get your lottery numbers in tonight, lad. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So, Mickey van der Ven and Luka Vuskovic as the two centre-halves. Two of the biggest dudes ever. And there is Van der Ven actually out-jumped straight away as Ben Davis just uses experience to head it back to Guillermo Vicario, although apparently I always pronounce that wrong. But anyway, Jed Spence, good to see him back on the pitch as well. I think Jed Spence will really benefit from being able to play a little less inverted as well. Good ball in between the lines from Vuskovic there, tapped off by Donnelly to Basuma, and lovely football from Spurs. We come down the left with Davis. Sonny's outside him. Sonny's first touch of the season. Cutting inside Sonny. Oh, a little bit of a bad touch, but it comes into the box. And then Sonny wins it back for Spurs. And here's Vuskovic. Vuskovic has just ploughed through a Reading player after a heavy touch. Deary me. Deary me, Luka Vuskovic. He is a huge boy. So he took a heavy touch, his first touch, and then it hits his thigh. It's not nowhere near as bad a tackle as the Reading one in the first half, but that Reading player could be a bit injured there. We obviously haven't seen much of Will Lancashire since he went off on loan to West Brom last season. I think most of us expecting him to go to West Brom again now that Ryan Mason is the manager there. But this is our first look at Vuskovic, and he's already communicating with the rest of the team. That's important for any centre half. Martin Tozer says, we always struggle against lower league teams. It's just a friendly. I wouldn't worry about it. Ball comes over the top. Ben Davis, tempted to go back to the keeper, does well, just jockeys his man. Vicario on his own goal line here. Gives it to Vuskovic again, and he's fouled. And that is a little bit of a reducer on Vuskovic as a bit of payback for the tackle he gave early. He's such a big boy, Vuskovic. I think I can see now why some people who've followed him a lot closer than I have say that he's not very quick, because he's tall, but he's also kind of weight. He's got a big kind of rump. And that was a pretty bad foul on him there from behind. Anyway, Spurs down the left already. Again, Donnelly now in the 10 role, picking up the ball nicely. He's a lot calmer on the ball than Devine already. Sonny goes down the left, gets an early cross in. Well done, Sonny. Sonny used his usual kind of one step over, gets it on his left, and then good cross, and it's cleared. Good stuff from Sonny there. Good start from Spurs again in the second half. Enjoying this game, even though it's 0-0. And Vuskovic is up for this corner, and he is an absolute huge threat from corners. Scored loads of goals for Westerlo from corners last season. Outswinger. It's Vuskovic. Got it. It's a goal. It's the outswinger. I think it might have been Van der Ven, but it's Will Lancashire who scores the goal in the end. Sorry, I thought it was Vuskovic who heads it at the near post, but it's actually, I think, Van der Ven. I'll double check. But Will Lancashire gets on the score sheet. That is Harry Kane-esque poaching there. Really good second run. Harry Kane scored so many of those goals for Spurs where they're flicked on at the near post. I think I'm just trying to see who flicked it at the near post there. I really hope it was Vuskovic, because I just said how dangerous he was from set pieces. But was it Van der Ven? No. It was Vuskovic who flicked. It's an assist for Luka Vuskovic. Number 80 comes towards the near post, flicks it on, and Will Lancashire at the back post with a header. Beautiful delivery from the corner. Was it Kudus delivering it with his left foot from the corner as the outswinger? Yeah, I think it was, There we go. And I talked in the first half, didn't I, about how Spurs under Frank, I think, will be more dangerous from set pieces because he's all about marginal gains. He's all about finding ways to score extra bonus goals. And straight away, I know that the Extra Inch boys, make sure you follow and listen to the Extra Inch podcast if you don't already. But the Extra Inch boys have talked a lot about Vuskovic and how dangerous he is from set pieces. And he's already shown that. Lovely flick on at the near post. Bergvall does well there pressing. Jed Spence does well, and we win as Spence was pressed by three opposition players. I did tell you to tell me when to update the score. Love it. Well done, guys. That's updated. Shall I put in the scorer as well? Sonny plays the ball down the line. Jamie Donnelly's made a nice run. And Reading win the ball back. And there we go. I've got the score up, lads. Thanks for reminding me. Appreciate that. I did say. And Noshia says set piece for the win. Maybe if we score more goals, I'll probably have to take the 48 off there. I think I'm supposed to put an apostrophe by the minute, aren't I? Where do I put that? Do I put that before the 4 or after the 8? I'm not quite sure. Reading playing some good football there through the middle and get it out wide to the right. Facing up Ben Davies. Comes inside the winger. He's going to have a dig here. Good block from Ben Davies. And Kudus now facing his own goal. Gives it back to Vicario, who clears it straight away. Don't mind that at all. That is Will Lankshire's first goal since he scored away at Galatasaray for Spurs, I think. It's his first goal for Tottenham since then anyway. Reading play one over the top. Van der Ven gets a good header on it to Davis. Heads it down to Basuma, facing his own goal. Turns away, gives it to Davis. Davis takes a touch on it and then plays a lovely ball down the line to Son. Sonny flicked it round the corner to Lancashire there, and Lancashire's fouled. Good stuff from Spurs. Really good. Jackie Boy Johnson says, Lancashire to be our new striker? I don't think so, but there's no reason for me why Lancashire couldn't have a similar career progression in terms of his early career to Harry Kane, which is, he's got to make the club, Tottenham that is, believe in him, and he can do that by getting some good loans under his belt. Jamie Donnelly's looking good so far. Just takes a good throw early to Sonny, who's at the byline now. Takes it on his left foot, tries to dink it. That's going to be another corner to Spurs. Good stuff from Spurs in the second half here. Where are you guys? Let me know. Where are you guys on Sonny's future? Do you want Sonny to stay this season? And then my secondary question is, if we get a good bid for him, say we get 35 million for him from someone, do you think we should take that? Okay, lovely from Easy2174 tells me where the hyphen should go. I'll put that in a second. Here comes another corner, deep this time from Kudus. Comes to the edge of the box. Donnelly with a good cross cleared. And then Spence does well. And I tell you what, good chance here at the back post. Kudus lays it off. Chance. Goal! Oh my God, it's Vuskovic! Vuskovic! What a goal with an assist from Kudus. The ball came over the top wide left. Cuts it back, and Vuskovic with his left foot sweeps it into the bottom right-hand corner. And I am changing the banner, lads. Wow. And the commentator saying, strikers finish from the centre half on his debut. And I'm adding in my hyphens. There she is. It's a brilliant goal. The ball came over the top to Kudus. He's calm on it and just lays it into Vuskovic. It's an unbelievable finish from the kid. All we've seen from him so far is an assist, a goal, and an absolute reducer where he powered through the opposition player, the Reading player. But that is now a goal and an assist for Luka Vuskovic on his debut. He's a big old beast, that boy. He's still only about 18 years old as well. Christ alive. Christ alive. 2-0 Spurs. Jackie Boy Johnson says, Vusconaldo. Neil Sharpton says, Lancashire just needs an assist in a fight and he completes the Gordie Howe hat-trick. Hansi G says, I love Vuskovic. TB Spidey says, those are apostrophes, not hyphens. That's true. They are apostrophes. Apologies. That's correct. Oh, Spencer's just lost it in dangerous area. Cross from Reading. Chance at the back post. Cleared off the line by Vuskovic. So far in this game, Luka Vuskovic on his debut, 18 years old, cleared the ball off the line, 1 assist, 1 goal, 1 absolute reducer. He's got an aura about him, this kid. Jed Spence there was playing a bit of Ange ball on the right when he should have cleared it. And I think Thomas Frank will probably get into him. Just clear it, mate. Just clear it. And it was going in. I think there's a chance that Vicario would have saved it, but he gives Vuskovic the double fist bump because he thanks him. Corner coming in from Reading now. In swinger, it's going to come towards Vic. Let's see how he's been doing in terms of showing his strength from defensive corners. Cringe Lord says, Luka Vuskovic, the most expensive teenager in the world. And Hansi G says, Kudus is dangerous. He's had a good start, Kudus. Showing his calmness, that's for sure. 55 minutes gone. Reading 0, Spurs 2. Here comes the in-swinger. Cleared by Ben Davies. Comes to the back now. Spence blocks the cross. Don't foul him, Jed. And he does foul him. Jed just being a little bit keen here. Oh, and Reading tried to take a short one. But he couldn't. Everybody on Twitter absolutely raving about Luka Vuskovic. Anyway, it's a free kick to Reading in the wide left position. They're going to bend one in towards Vicario. Both Van der Ven and Vuskovic being very communicative here. Really good to see. Here comes the in-swinger. Deep to the back post, and Vicario gets a punch on it. That'll be another corner to Reading. That's good keeping from Vicario. Just getting the danger out. Coolidge saying we need to offload Spence. I think it's a bit early for that, mate. Spence was excellent last season. There's a lot of fighting going on in the box. Here comes the in-swinger. Vicario gets a punch on it and is fouled. Anaconic Arden says, let's keep a clean sheet. Nocia says, Real Madrid bought the wrong centre-back, lol. Oh, my God. What a start for this kid. Yeah, Jed Spence got a little bit of a push in the face there from a Reading player, and he goes and gives him a push. Yeah, it's being a bit of a prick there. And now they shake hands. That's good to see. That's good to see. 57 minutes gone. Reading 0, Spurs 2. Vicario has the ball at his feet. Drops it short into Mickey van der Ven. Opens it out to Ben Davis. Good stuff. Lovely football from Spurs. Very simple. Through to Donnelly, who comes back, gives it inside to Basuma. Heavy touch from Basuma, but wins it back. Comes back to Ben Davis. Opens it out to Mickey van der Ven. He'll go back to the keeper, I'm sure. He does. And Vicario just tries to dink it quite simply over the top to Spence. But there, just a little example of the difference between Vicario and Kinski in terms of their distribution. It's not quite as natural for Vicario, but he is also rusty. So we'll give him a pass. And once again now, just showing in the second half how close Thomas Frank's number 10 plays to the 9 as Donnelly getting really near Will Lancashire. And I do think that bodes really well for Kulusevski and for James Maddison. Moose City, thank you for your super chat. Says, I've seen enough. We can sell Romero, start Luka. I think it's a bit early for that. Oh, good win there from Basuma. Gives away a free kick though. But thank you. But I think you're being sarcastic. But yes, what a start for the young kid. And just absolutely scans with everything we heard from Vusković's time in his homeland and then on loan at Westerlo. An absolute beast from attacking set pieces. And he's shown it. He's assisted from one and he's scored from the other. Absolutely brilliant start for the kid. I love it. Reading now have a free kick. Baladir Raj Chowdhury says, put 250 million release clause in Luka Vusković's contract already. Anyway, here comes a free kick from Reading. First header one at the back post. Chance on the edge of the box for a shot for Reading. That's blocked well by Basuma. And it goes all the way back to their keeper. What we haven't had the chance to see yet is much of Kudus on the ball on the right. But he's keeping his shape well. As Reading play a long ball over the top of Ben Davis. It's a beautiful ball, actually. Really good ball. They're in at the byline now. Davis does well, but Reading keep the ball. And Basuma gets a good foot in, and that is a Spurs goal kick. Buller asks, why not have two very good right centre-backs? Yeah, exactly. That's what we're going to do. We need a deep squad, and that's what's going to happen this season. Apparently, a lot of people are excited about the Reading right winger Andre Garcia. He did well against Ben Davis there. He's very small though in stature. Matthew Breaker says, who started as captain? The first half it was Romero, and then we made 11 changes at half-time, and Sonny is the captain in the second half. Vicario on the ball now, just drawing out the Reading press, and again, Van der Ven gets it to Davis, who plays a beautiful ball into Kudus' feet, who holds it up well. Tries to turn, gets away from two men. Beautiful from Kudus. That's the best we've seen from him, showing how hard he is to get off the ball there, Mohammed Kudus. I've talked about this in some of my videos. He's got a big butt, and it's hard to get the ball off him when he turns. Sonny now driving again. Already Sonny going onto his left foot from the wide left position a lot more than he did under Big Ange. And he wins a throw-in. Easy asks, how's Kudus looking? That was the best bit of play from Kudus in the first kind of 15 minutes, although he has got an assist already. Hansi G says Kudus is class. And now Sonny in down the left again. A chance for a cross. And it's just defended again. Sonny so far has reached the byline 3 times. And it's led to 3 corners for Spurs 2 of which we've scored from. So I wonder if Sonny might be tempted to stay if he sees the opportunities he's going to get to the byline. As we're just playing some really good stuff, some nice 1 and 2 touch stuff in midfield, which are getting our wide players in. Kudus is on the corners. It's very clear at the moment that the 2 corner takers are Kudus and Porro. Porro not on the pitch anymore. Here comes the outswinger. This one a bit more central, dropped over the keeper's head, cleared. Then comes to Sonny on the edge, but Reading managed to clear it. And Vicario is way out of his box. Got to be careful here and just get rid of it. And he does. Good goalkeeping. Penson says, Barnaby's endless hard-on for big men is so odd. I don't have a hard-on for big men. It's just the Premier League is a very physical league. And Spurs, if you remember last season as an example, whenever Tottenham would go 1-0 down, especially away from home, but pretty much anywhere, think of Crystal Palace, think of Ipswich, think of all of these games, then just the opposition team would just physically get in our faces and we couldn't deal with it. So it's not a hard-on for big men. You know, I love skillful players. I love James Maddison. I love Kulusevski. But in the Premier League, you need physicality. You do. And I know Thomas Frank knows that as well. So you just have to have a good mix, basically. You have to have a really good blend. That's how I feel about it. Gary Riddell says, loan Jamie Donnelly and Will Lancashire out together to Hull to continue their under-21 partnership. Chris Pretijon says, I would be worried if I was Solanke. Chris, what would you be worried for? Not from Will Lancashire. I don't think he's got anything to worry about yet. But I'm glad that Lancashire got on the end. Hansi says we should get Eza. Yeah, I wish we would get Eza, but I think he's unfortunately going to South London. 62 minutes gone. Reading 0, Spurs 2. I think Thomas Frank will be very, very satisfied at the moment. Jaco Cats on Twitter says, who have we brought, guys? What the fuck is this specimen? Meaning Luka Vuskovic. And Matthew Spencer says, could be another Luka Spurs legend on our hands. Listen, it's been a great start for the boy. I'm more interested at the moment, as much as I love how dangerous he is attacking, I'm more interested in seeing how he does defending. But yeah, it's been a great start for the boy. Kudus takes this corner quickly, gets it back off Son. Kudus goes to the byline, dinks across, beautiful stuff, well cleared, but showing Kudus can go either way. He started well. Kudus, now Spence on the ball. He's going to dink it into the box. On Spurs, were they offside? Because they've got loads of players through, but it goes all the way off for a goal kick. Neil Sharpton, this is a good point, mate. It's the first scrimmage, and we're already selling players and changing the formation. Yeah, meaning it's very early days in the season, guys. We don't need to... It's more about getting minutes in the legs. I'm sure Thomas Frank will say that after the game. More about getting minutes in the legs than it is about performance, but it's good to see that we've scored a couple of goals and all of that. As Spence gives away another foul, but that's okay. It's in the Reading half. And we press them back to their keeper. He's going to have to go long now. Donnelly pressing him, and he does, into the halfway line. Vuskovic allows the ball to come over his head. Good defending there. Van der Ven sweeps up behind him. Vuskovic gives it back to Van der Ven, and we go back to Vicario. And now Basuma gets it off Vic, and he turns. Like I've said, I've been saying in my videos pre-season, lovely ball from Ben Davis down the line to Donnelly. I've been saying in my pre-season videos, I do think there's a chance with Basuma, with playing in this formation where there's, you know, another kind of number 6 closer to him, it is possible that we'll see less of the kind of drops in concentration from Basuma than we have under Ange, but I guess you don't really know. But Spurs are just opening it out nicely from back to front here as Jamie Donnelly picking it up in a good position again, and he plays it down the line towards Lancashire, but that was telegraphed by the Reading defender, who's now going to clear it long, and he does. Goes out for a throw-in. Spurs playing some good stuff. Marco says, I think now Thomas Frank will hope for a clean sheet, because that's just as important as scoring goals. Yeah, that would be nice. That would be a good touch. Son of Spurdar says, Paratici signings always did well for us. Yeah. Be interesting to see towards the beginning of next season whether Paratici will come back as our lovely round the corner pass from Bergvall there. And now Basuma turns away as well. Really good stuff from the 2 6s from Spurs. Surely Basuma will put Sonny in. Oh, God. And that, I'm afraid, is kind of exactly what I was just talking about from Basuma. Basuma does the hard things. I mean, those of you who've listened to me do watch-alongs last season will have heard this time and time again. Basuma, when doing the hard things, when he's under pressure, he turns his man well. He does beautifully. And then he's done the hard work. He's driving forward. He just needs to slip Sonny in, and Sonny will be in such a dangerous area. and he overplays the pass. Look, I'll give him a pass because he's rusty. It's the first game of the season, but unfortunately, it's just a little Basoomery, I would say. And Reading now making, I think, 11 changes of their own, basically. So there'll be a little bit of a break in play here. Gary Riddell says, I'm so happy to be watching Spurs again. And you, Panda Man. Michael Zeng says, is it just me or haven't we seen anything from Bergvall before? Yeah, well, that comment was just before Bergvall turned a beautiful pass round the corner to Bissouma. That was really nice. Hansi wants us to go for Benjamin Sesko. Well, it seems like Arsenal have chosen to go for Gyökeres instead of Sesko. So Sesko, I think, is looking for a move to the Premier League. And a player who was on our list, Xavi Simons, is now apparently interesting Chelsea and Arsenal and probably Newcastle as well. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. I think we're concentrating really on Gibbs White at the moment, but who knows? Niall Higgins says, Spurs looking fire, Newcastle getting pumped by Celtic and United still poor. What's the score, Newcastle-Celtic, guys? Let me know. I remember seeing over the course of the summer, Shay Given coming out. He was kind of like the ambassador for this friendly game, talking about how much Celtic are looking forward to that game. So Newcastle obviously not enjoying it that much today. Tone says, how many minutes are we on? It's the 67th minute, Tone. And Nosha says, Bissouma still on holiday, lol. DJ19 says, Son is surplus, great clubman, but sell to Saudi. If Saudi Arabia came in with a huge bid and Sonny wanted to go, then sure. But for me, it's got to be up to Sonny, whatever he wants to do. One thing I'll say about the second half so far, I think Donnelly looking more comfortable, certainly on the ball, than sorry, I'm having a mental breakdown now. Than Alfie Devine did in the first half. Devine kind of working harder on the press, showing more energy than Donnelly, but Donnelly on the ball is a bit more cultured. Mickey van der Ven there just giving away his first free kick. And this will be an opportunity from just outside the box, wide right for Reading to get the ball into the box. Neil Sharpton says, quick, someone get Bassouma a few party balloons. Yeah. Jonathan asks, is Kudus good? He's made a good start on the ball, that's for sure. And thank you for telling me, Celtic 3-0 up against Newcastle. The Geordies won't like that. So this is a dangerous area. Spurs have got their defensive line just around the 6-yard box. Dinked in, cleared well from Ben Davis, out for a throw-in. Good defending. And RBC says, from SoCal, would love Son to join LAFC, where he would join. There has been some talk of that, where he would join ex-Spurs captain Hugo Lloris, wouldn't he? Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing him there, but I don't think the MLS have enough money, do they, to really get the kind of fee that Tottenham would expect for the last year of Spurs' contract. Bergvall now pressing the centre-half. He's trying to get more involved. Reading have it down the left-hand side, and Bergvall gives away a foul. I think that's a good example there of Bergvall just feeling he's not involved enough in this game. And therefore, he tried to press too hard and gives away a foul. Sonny, hello, mate. How are you? Sonny Talk Spurs. Make sure you give Sonny Talk Spurs a subscribe. Great stream, Barnaby, you say? Let's have a look. I love how our passing looks better. Set pieces and options when passing and also not conceding on every counter. Ha, big up. Cheers, mate. Yes, completely agree. We are looking definitely more strong. As the ball comes in near post, it's cleared, but another chance here for Reading at the byline to get a cross in. And it's an in-swinger. Here it comes. And Vicario comes and claims nicely. And then he's pulled down as he tries to get Spurs on the transition. But that's all right. Good claim for Big Vic. Well done, lad. Well done. A little bit of negativity for Solanke today. He's obviously not on the pitch anymore. He played in the first half. Chris says, I think Solanke is too slow to be a top striker despite his other attributes. How quick is Lancashire? You can't do anything against pace. Lancashire's not much quicker. And Solanke is further down his development for sure at the moment. Good ball from Jed Spence into the channel for Kudus to stretch his legs there. Showed a bit of pace there, Kudus. He was tackled in the end and it goes out for a throw-in, but good ball there from Spence. You could see potentially Spence and Kudus having a nice little kind of languid, laissez-faire right side partnership as Vuskovic plays it to Van der Ven. Van der Ven out to Ben Davis. And Davis will go back to Vicario there. Vicario being pressed. Oh, and there we go. That's where Vicario just quite often takes a little bit too long on the ball, and it was nearly tackled there. Yeah, Milo, this is a great point. I completely agree with this. If we could put our two keepers together, we'd have the world's best. If we could put Kinski's distribution with Vicario's shot stopping, I completely agree. Vuskovic lays it to Vicario on his goal line. Now Van der Ven. and Van der Ven can use his pace here. Now he tries a little dib over the top on the right. It's a great ball from Van der Ven to Spence, whose first touch wasn't great, and his second touch goes out for a Reading throw. Spence has looked a little rusty so far. Porro definitely looked stronger, but Porro did come back early, didn't he, for pre-season? Now Bergvall with a chance to get on the ball. Nice ball inside to Jamie Donnelly, who showed beautifully for him. Donnelly then opens it out, and Kudus, lovely first touch. Kudus now driving in the inside right position. He's got Lancashire outside him. Lancashire now in the channel. He's looking for an early cross. Cuts it back to Kudus. This is a chance for Kudus here. Oh, he takes his time on it, and in the end, it goes out for a Spurs throw. I wonder if that was a little further on in our pre-season development, whether Kudus would open his body up and try and bend that from the inside right position, left foot into the far corner. I've seen him score those goals before. But lovely football from Spurs. I know it's early to say, lads, and it's classic, but I've been saying it all in all my videos in the last few weeks. I think Spurs are going to challenge the top four this season. I do. Here comes Kudus with the in-swinger. Onto the keeper's head. Keeper didn't do well. Chance on the edge of the box for Son on the volley. Absolutely skies it. There shows some real rustiness there for Son Heung-min, but don't you worry about it, Sonny. More chances will come your way. Frank comes off his bench to come and shout something to the lads. I love Sonny. I love Son Heung-min. What an absolute legend he is. Dystopia Eats Money says, listening from the south of France. Thank you so much. Listen, guys, thank you for all your support. 1,000 of you watching. Please, if you haven't already, do press like on this video on YouTube. Do press subscribe if you want to see daily Tottenham Hotspur transfer news and all the news and views from Tottenham. And do press that notification bell button so you get a notification every time I release some content. Spence now facing his own goal, goes back to Vicario, and there's a difference. Under Big Ange Postecoglou, Vicario. Oh, beautiful touch from Lancashire to Donnelly there. Lancashire showed some amazing hold-up play now, and Donnelly might try and dink it over. Lovely from Donnelly all the way over. Lovely switch to Sonny, facing up his man, but he's tackled, unfortunately. Ben Davis comes to help him, and that's a Reading throw. Sonny is looking a bit rusty at the moment. Beautiful stuff. Aussie fan, avoided AV, Aussie fan watching from Vietnam. It's good to see some Aussie fans. I'm hoping we'll keep a number of Aussie fans who maybe joined when Ange became manager, and we won't lose them, but maybe Voided, you've been an Aussie fan for years. Bergvall gets his body in the way there. Well, he didn't give away a foul, but a foul was given off way before. Romeo34 says, I think top four is beyond this team compared to other teams in the league, but 5th and 6th could be realistic if people stay fit. Maybe. I just think we'll challenge the top four. But what I will stick with is I think we'll have to be patient early on. Remember when Pochettino first came? It didn't happen immediately. We had to be patient. Reading now in a good position. They've got some men forward here. They're just in the inside right position. Get an early cross in. The bad cross, unfortunately. But that was one of the few times Spurs were found a little wanting in terms of men back on the transition. And Reading, unfortunately, could not put a good ball in. Coolidge watching from Manila. Nice. Tim Langford is in Dallas, Texas. Tony is an Aussie watching from Canada. I love this, guys. Matthew Breaker is Indiana, USA. And as I said before, Voided is in Vietnam, an Aussie fan. Love it, guys. I'm loving all this. Spurs winning and doing really well. They played well, decently in the first half. Then they made 11 changes. And I think a bit of fatigue for Reading, and we've scored a couple of set-piece goals. John Smith says, don't confuse being rusty and losing your edge regarding Son. John, which side are you on? I think he's just rusty, personally. I think Son will still be a really good threat for Spurs as a squad player this summer. Dave Bird is watching from Scotland. DJ19 is watching from Adelaide in Australia. Bojan says, what does Vuskovic look like on the pitch? Although he's only just turned 18, he's already played for the first team for Croatia and in Poland and the Belgian First League. Yeah, well, he's got an assist and a goal already, Bojan. So he's looking pretty decent. He hasn't had to do too much defending yet, but he hasn't put a foot wrong as far as I'm concerned, other than one reducer tackle where he had a bit of a heavy touch and ploughed through one of the Reading players, but I was here for that as well. Really, Koi75 says, tropical island of Welling. Love it. And Ryan Law watching from Nam, Tottenham. Love it. Been a really enjoyable second half, guys. 75 minutes gone, so only 15 minutes left. And Bergvall comes to get the ball. Oh, no. Bergvall has just been overconfident there, giving the ball away in his own half. And he's helped. Do you know what? Bergvall has helped himself out, but it's going to be a chance on the edge of the box over the bar. So that's the first time in this game that we've seen one of our central midfielders be a little overconfident, a little greedy when facing their own goal. And I think Bergvall, actually, he had a bit of a difficult pre-season last season as well, didn't he? It took him a while to get up to speed. But he just tried to play a bit too much of a dangerous ball. It was telegraphed. But to be fair to Bergvall, he then worked back and he got a foot in. And then Spurs had players back, so that the final shot from Reading was too difficult and it went over the bar. That happens. I don't mind that at all. Mike Webber's in Fort Worth, Texas. John Smith says, Son's been a great player for us, but it's like a boxer who tries to carry on instead of bowing out gracefully. Strong feelings from John there. All subjective. I imagine I think Son could potentially, good play there from Vuskovic. Wow. Beautiful defensive play from Vuskovic there, just seeing his opportunity to step in and use his chest to win the ball. Really enjoyable start from Vuskovic. That so far is, Luka, I think so far is what all the Spurs podcasts will be talking about this coming week. Luka Vuskovic. That's how I feel about it. Nice stuff. Bissouma gets the ball. Spurs did a throw nice and simply there, which we didn't do a lot of the time under Ange. Vicario under pressure there, but plays a good ball out to Bissouma, who beautifully plays it to Vuskovic now on the right-hand side of the centre-back. He's looking for a long ball here. Vuskovic tries to turn, but then takes it away. Bissouma's just lost the ball, has he? Or is it Spence, maybe? But Kudus helping him down the line. Beautiful play from Spurs. Oh, if he keeps this on, Kudus. Unbelievable play between Kudus and Spence. Should be a goal for Spurs here. Oh, he's gone for the wrong way, I think. He's gone for Donnelly on the edge of the box, but still a chance. Just wide from Jamie Donnelly. Beautiful play down the right between Kudus and Spence. We've done all the hard work, and then Kudus had a chance to just lay it across the box. If it was Ange ball, we would have laid it across the box, but instead he cut it back to the edge of the box where Donnelly came, and he was on his wrong foot. That was the only thing Kudus did well. Really showed his speed on the wing there. God, he's a powerful boy, Mohammed Kudus. Yeah, I'll tell you what, it's a corner for Spurs anyway, but had it been Brennan Johnson, although I don't think Johnson would have got in that position necessarily. Here comes the corner. Vuskovic came piling through again, and Son can't keep the ball in. But if it had been Johnson, Johnson would have put it across the front of the box and we would have scored at the back post. But instead, it's not a bad ball from Kudus, because you see the man coming in and it's a free shot, basically. But yeah, I guess we're just so used to seeing Spurs play that ball to the far post. Apparently Celtic 4-0 up against Newcastle. Wow, not a good day for the Geordies, but they'll all be having a good day out, I'm sure. Van der Ven. Oh, Bissouma nearly gave the ball away there. So far in the second half, another interesting thing and good thing to see, that Mickey van der Ven hasn't had to do any sprinting, and that's because Spurs just not playing in quite such a gung-ho way. Good ball from Ben Davies over the top to Sonny here. And he loses it again. Sonny is incredibly rusty in this half. Incredibly rusty. Jamie Donnelly puts the press on, and that should be a Spurs throw, and it is. 12 minutes to go, guys. Aunarag says Sonny is hungover. He deserves a drink or two. That's true. Ian Pereira says Tottenham come to conquer. That's right. Well, 2-0 at the Majewski, or whatever it's called now. And Jackie Boy Johnson says Frank Ball in full flow. John Smith says Frank Ball is showing how he wants Spurs to play. Liking what I'm seeing already. Yeah. I've liked Kudus so far, that's for sure. And again, uses his skills there. He's a beautiful player. He's got a hint of the Moussa Dembele about him, Kudus, on the ball, but with more pace. He's got a lower center of gravity, but very strong on the ball. You can see why, certainly in that first season, West Ham absolutely loved him. And let's face it, West Ham were an absolute basket case of a club last season. Vuskovic just gives the ball away there, trying to play a little bit of a more difficult ball than need be, but then steps in to win it back. I mean, I don't want to get too excited here about Vuskovic because it's Reading away and it's the first game of the season. But for an 18-year-old centre-half, looks ridiculous. Bergvall has just given the ball away again, so Reading have it. One thing you would say, wouldn't you, is he's clearly Vuskovic jumped ahead in the pecking order of Alfie Dorrington, because Dorrington's gone on that loan again to Aberdeen. Reading get a cross in, back post, cleared by Jed Spence. Well done, Jed. That's the best thing that Spence has done in this second half. He looks a little frustrated with his performance, Spence, but I wouldn't worry too much about it. Just some rumours that Ekatike is getting closer to a move to Liverpool. Here's a chance for a shot at the back post. Tipped over from Vicario. He wants his players to close down the ball quickly there. He's having a shout, as he always will. But yeah, Ekatike, good player, played at Frankfurt. We saw him score against us last season in the Europa League. Liverpool have upped their bid to £80 million, and you can see why he'd want to go to Liverpool. Oh, good play. Reading are in at the byline here. Dink to the back post. It's headed at the back post, then across, and Davis heads it off the line. It goes for another corner. Good stuff from Ben Davis there. And Will Lancashire was challenging. And Ben Davis just saying to the players, think, let's keep our clean sheet here. A little bit of change in attitude from Spurs since the new manager has come in. Alan Morgan says, I think Mbeumo has made a mistake going to United. They just drew against Leeds. Apparently Leeds were very poor. Again, a little bit of pushing and shoving in the box here as we get ready for defending a corner. So Vuskovic isn't quite as tall as Vicario. Certainly a strong boy. He's nearly as tall as Mickey van der Ven, though. Yes, it's Vicario trying to push the keeper, and then the keeper throws the Reading player into the net. Brilliant. Here comes the in-swing corner. Comes to the back post, and it goes all the way off. Jamie Donnelly did well to get his body in the way, and it goes all the way off. Just to say, guys, after the game, I will do a little bit of a post-match. We'll see how interested you guys are and other Spurs fans are, and I'll stay on as long as as long as there's interest in watching. And we'll just talk about what we thought of this game. Really enjoyable so far, though. That's for sure. Hansi G says, I'm going to get the black kit with Kudus on the back. Nocia says, Kudus looks good. Spurs T-Rex makes a good point here. Ben Davis, the most underrated player at Spurs. Listen, if I was Thomas Frank, I would be keeping Ben Davis for this season. He doesn't kick up a fuss, and he's, he always gives 7 out of 10 performances. Here he is on the ball now. Gives it inside to Bissouma. Tries to beat his man Bis, but turns away under pressure. And now tries to turn away again and is fouled. Oh, but foul not given, so he's lost the ball. Here are Reading. The Spurs have bodies behind the ball. Reading still have it on the right-hand side. Sonny gets a foot in. Now, win something here, Sonny. And he does. He wins a throw-in. Well played. Eight minutes to go. Just under 8 minutes to go. Ben Davis throws it back to Van der Ven, who might end up just clearing this, and he does. Does the right thing up to the halfway line. And as a result, the second ball drops right to Jed Spence, who comes forward, gives it to Kudus, whose first touch is lovely. His second touch, he could have given it inside to Bergvall, but he wins a throw-in. Martin Tozer asks, who's going to win the Premier League? Tottenham. Vuskovic now gives it back to Vicario. He's under a bit of pressure here. Van der Ven is there. Gives it to Mickey. Could give it inside there. Mickey doesn't. Goes to Ben Davis. And Davis is going to win a foul there. Lovely play from Ben Davis. Gary's MTV Adventure says, Davis will be a future manager of Spurs and Wales one day. I'm sure of it. Yeah, he has done his coaching badges, I think. Vicario has the ball at his feet. He's looking for options. Bergvall gives him an option. Then opens his body out to give it to Van der Ven. That has been something I've seen all day. Both central midfielders giving us options at centre-half on the ball. Lovely play from Davis coming inside, getting it back off Vicario, who opens it out to Vuskovic, who plays a beautiful ball inside to Bergvall. He's got some room to move into. Gives it to Kudus now on the halfway line. Oh dear, who just does a pirouette. Now Kudus is just he's in party mode now. He pirouetted and then played a lovely switch all the way out to Sonny. Lovely stuff. And now Bissouma tries to dink one over the top. Not quite enough on it, but he didn't see Spence. Chance for Spence. Oh, Jed Spence, who could have cut it back, tries to slot it in at the near post. Keeper makes a save. You can see why in a friendly, Spence would try and put that one away. Just a little defensive mistake there. He didn't know Spence was there. And if Spence had just cut it back, he's always going to shoot there. Spence. Bissouma could have scored. He made a late move in there. But it's a corner to Spurs. 5 minutes to go. And Suvi Frank says, is Kudu in the game? Yeah, Kudus is playing really well, mate. Really impressive debut. 1 assist so far. Alan Morgan says, I think Frank will take positives from this game and there'll be some tweaks. Totally agree. Here comes a cross from Kudus. Dinks it onto the keeper's head. He gets some gloves on it. Van der Ven heads it back in. It might have been Donnelly, but comes to Bergvall on the edge. Good touch from Bergvall. And then he didn't see a man and then he ends up fouling Bergvall. He wasn't quite aware. Rustiness can show in lots of different ways, not just physically. And I think Bergvall is a little bit kind of just not used to playing, really, because a few times he's not known that opposition players are just going to pinch the ball off him from behind. And that's what's happened. Really enjoyed this game, though. 5 minutes to go. I think if memory serves, I could be wrong. Let me know if I'm wrong. But I think if memory serves, Spurs' first game under Big Ange was on tour against West Ham, was it? And we did a lot in that game that looked good, but we ended up losing the game just kind of unluckily with a few, well, funnily enough for under Ange, with a few mad defensive errors. Jed Spence just sees that out for a goal kick. So this has been an enjoyable start. Reg asks, what's your assessment of Donnelly today? He looks cultured on the ball, Jamie Donnelly, and he shows well. He's clearly got great vision, great movement. But I fear for Donnelly and just his agility, really, and his athleticism. The Premier League is so quick. But could be wrong. Could be wrong. Oh, my God. Kudus is in party mode. Vicario gave it to Kudus in the halfway line, came to him in the air, and he just did a Cruyff volleyed pass. Kudus and Vuskovic, the two debutants, are going to be the players that Spurs fans talk about all week on the podcast, that's for sure. Vuskovic, he just seems to make good decisions there. He had a chance to play a dangerous ball, but he didn't. He just gave it easy. Back to Vicario. Now he gets it back off Van der Ven. And Vuskovic finds Spence, who will go back to Vuskovic, I would think, who might go long. Oh, beautiful ball from Vuskovic into Bissouma, who gets it back off Bissouma. Vuskovic is an 18-year-old Rio Ferdinand. Not as pacey. Beautiful football into Donnelly. Beautiful football from Spurs. Back to Son, who tries to play a ball through over the top into Lancashire, but it was poor. Sonny has been very rusty in this game, it's fair to say, but he's working hard, the boy. Keep Jinx says, Kudus and Vuskovic sending fans their love letters today. Yeah, absolutely. Milo says, I'm enjoying the way we're controlling the pace. And Hansi says, imagine when Kudus is fully fit. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I think he'll love it at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, Kudus. I really do. Lennon says, I need Son, Solanke and Kulusevski to score. Well, two of them aren't on the pitch, so that's not going to happen. Reading now getting a bit of space in midfield. They got a chance to open it out wide right. Sonny working hard to get back. Ben Davies is in front of him. A ball into the channel. Van der Ven turns on the afterburners. And they did get a cross in, but Vuskovic was there to clear. Good defending from Spurs. So it shows there will be times where we're hit on the transition. We're not going to be, we're not going to be totally untransitioned against, but Vuskovic in a good position. We're just a little bit deeper all the time, so it's not easy. It's just not simple as it was often under Ange. Not in this game yet, anyway. Reading just playing a bit of football here. Cross to the back posts, but easily dealt with by Guillermo Vicario. 88 minutes gone, guys. I will stay on for a little bit after the end of this game to do a bit of a post-match. I'll probably go through the players and say what I thought of all their performances. So do stay on. Once again, guys, if you haven't already, please do press like on this video. Let's get as many likes as possible so Spurs fans can see the channel. And do subscribe to my channel for daily Tottenham transfer content. Well, Vuskovic with his first slightly dodgy ball there, but it comes through to Spence. Yeah, do press subscribe if you haven't already and press that bell button for notifications. Lovely stuff again, Donnelly and Son. Donnelly is just a cultured footballer, clever player. Be interesting to see what happens with him this season. I could see him getting a championship loan very, very easily, but he has impressed me more than Devine in this game, that's for sure. Devine, who was very willing and wanted to get on the ball all the time, but just made some bad choices. Oh, good ball over the top from Spence, but cleared by the Reading centre-half. It was Sonny and Lancashire trying to make that narrow run. Spence gives away about his 5th free kick of the second half. We're into the last minute of the game now. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Reading with a big old diag. Ben Davies is out there. Bissouma coming to help him out. Reading come inside from the right. Come on, Spurs. They're in. Got a chance outside the box here, Reading. They've kept the ball. They get it wide left. Come on, Spurs. Keep your clean sheet here, Spurs. Cross to the back post. Ben Davies in a great position. Good first header. Bissouma needs the second one, and he does. Free header for Reading, though. Now they've got another chance to get the cross in, and Spence can't be bothered to go to the man. That's poor from Spence. Okay, holds him up. Here comes the cross now. Left foot towards the back stick. Davies there again, though. Not a great header, though. And a shot. And a save from Vicario. Vital save. Didn't get it out into the best area, but then Jed Spence did help him out. Spence looking a little leggy at this point, I have to say. It is their first 45 minutes, of course. This shot came through bodies from the right-hand side. And now comes across the box again. Spurs defending well in that last couple of minutes. And that is the end of the game. And I'll tell you what, Spurs have not only won 2-0, but Thomas Frank will like the fact that we had to suffer a little bit in those last few minutes. Reading 0, Tottenham Hotspur 2. A very enjoyable performance under Thomas Frank for the first game. And there, Vicario having a word straight away with Jed Spence, who did look a little bit lackadaisical, certainly in the back third of that second half. And Vicario just having a bit of a chat with him. Vicario's given a big hug there to Mohammed Kudus, but very enjoyable first preseason game. Our next preseason game is a week today, next Saturday. And I think Thomas Frank will be very happy with that. I'll just go through the players and how I thought they performed. Kinski, first half, he played in the first half, did pretty well. Maybe I'll give him a kind of 6.5 out of 10. Didn't have much to do. Porro looked good. I'll give him a 7. Romero looked good. I'll give him a 7. Who did Romero play alongside in that first half at centre half? Well, Udogie I was impressed with. I'm going to give Udogie a 9 at left back. Romero was alongside in that first half Kevin Danso, who I thought played really well, and the 9. And then Bentancur, I'll give him a 9. Bentancur and, Bentancur, let's give him a 7. He played in the kind of 6 in that first half. And Alfie Devine played in the 10. I'll give Alfie Devine a kind of 6. He worked hard. And Ryan Law says in the comments there, thanks for saving us 45 quid on Spurs player. May just have to join the channel now. I appreciate that, mate. Who played in the 6 alongside Bentancur in that first half? And why can't I remember? Solanke played pretty well, played as a 7. Johnson wasn't really in the game. 7 out of 10. Johnson, I'll give a 6 out of 10. And then on the left-hand side in the first half, I can't remember. Let me have a look who started the game, because that is a good way of doing it, isn't it? Let's face it, rather than just trying to remember, because there were so many players. So the first half, Pat Matissar, I'll give him a kind of 6 out of 10. And then Mikey Moore, I'll give a 6.5 out of 10. And then in the second half, Vicario made a good save. I'll give him a 7 out of 10. And at right back, Jed Spence didn't play great. I'll give him maybe a 5.5, 6 out of 10. Vuskovic is my man of the match, an assist and a goal. I'll give him a 9.5 out of 10. He played alongside Mickey van der Ven. Great to see him back on the pitch. No injuries. So I'll give Mickey a kind of 7 out of 10. Ben Davis, 7 out of 10, played really well. And then it was Jamie Donnelly, played well. I'll give him a 7 out of 10. Ibasuma, 6 out of 10. And he was alongside Bergvall. I have to give a 6 out of 10. Lancashire got a goal, so we'll give him a 7.5. And Kudus, another man of the match performance, 9.5 out of 10. And Thomas Frank there, just on the pitch, talking to all his players, giving them a bit of a debrief, applauding them, putting his arms around Pat Matissar. He's not afraid for the fans to see him talking to the players. I don't mind that at all. I thought it was just really, really exciting to see what, sorry about that cough. Really exciting to see what Thomas Frank wants from his team. A lot of 1 and 2 touch stuff, a lot more safety in central midfield in front of the back four, with no matter who those central defensive midfield players were throughout the game. Whenever we had the ball at the keeper's feet or the centre back's feet, those players were always coming to get the ball off him. And when they were doing 1 touch, 2 touch work round the corner, back to the fullbacks. And we just never really, other than maybe one time where Lucas Bergvall overplayed in his box in the second half, we never really looked in danger at all because of that kind of defensive 4, the 2 centre halves and then the 2 central defensive midfielders. And the other thing, or another thing that I really noticed that I really liked, the fullbacks a lot wider in the first half. Porro and Udogie a lot wider. And I'd say that was one of Udogie's best performances for a long time. Really, really impressed with both of them. I got a little super chat here from C9 Manic. To be honest, it looks like Kinski is the number 1 under Frank. I wouldn't say that yet. I'll tell you why, because obviously we don't see what's happening in training. Thank you for your super chat, by the way, C9 Manic. Appreciate it. But Kinski's distribution is undoubtedly much better than Vicario's. However, we haven't seen him under pressure of having to make saves yet. Kinski is a good shot stopper, but he's not at Vicario's level yet. The Spurs players are just going to the fans now. Thomas Frank giving the fans some applause. I like Frank. I'm going to say it now. I like his communication. He's getting good reaction from the Spurs fans. And I like what he's doing with this team. And then the 2 players who just stood out, and they only played 45 minutes each. Vuskovic, I mean, it's early to say it, but I'm going to say it. Just looks like a Rolls Royce. Like, he's not quick. He's a big old boy, but he doesn't seem to need to be quick because he he just makes good decisions, makes simple passes when he has to, and then makes dangerous passes when he has to. Really dangerous from attacking set pieces, scored a goal and had an assist. And for an 18-year-old, just unbelievable. And then the other player, Mohammed Kudus, our new £55 million signing, he was turning it on in the second half. Got an assist, just a couple of pieces of play. One beautiful Cruyff turn kind of flick on the volley. One beautiful piece of play down the right where he maybe, if I was going to be argumentative, made the wrong final ball afterwards. But we have a real player in Mohammed Kudus. West Ham fans are going to be absolutely devastated when they see how well he is going to play this season. He is a proper baller. And talking about Tadare is to do and flair players at Tottenham Hotspur, wow. Another thing to talk about, I think, is Sonny came on in the second half. He looks incredibly leggy. I wonder if there's potentially an element of his mind is on other things. But don't forget, we have Matthias Tell to come and play in pre-season on that left-hand side. And I think under Kudus, Matthias Tell will be under Thomas Frank, Matthias Tell will be really good, because what we saw in that second half was Sonny getting to the byline a number of times, a little step over, then getting to the byline. And in the first half with Mikey Moore, a number of times where Moore would cut onto his right foot and get a good cross in towards the keeper. And that is something that that Matthias Tell is really good at. He's got excellent delivery, Matthias Tell. Both halves, we played young kids in the 10. Alfie Devine first half, Jamie Donnelly in the second half. And you can see straight away how important that number 10 role is going to be, because he plays really close to the striker, a lot closer to the striker than that kind of 8-10 role did under Ange Postecoglou. I think it's going to be brilliant for James Maddison. I think it's going to be great for Deki Kulusevski whenever he plays there. And you can totally see why Tottenham are trying to buy Morgan Gibbs-White, because he will get so much freedom and just little passes from Christian Romero, little in-between-the-line balls from Rodrigo Bentancur or Bergvall or Basuma, depending on who's playing in that number 6 role. There will just be a lot of space for the number 10 to get into pockets and be a real danger. I think James Maddison will have watched this game on TV today and thought, ooh, I like the look of the opportunities here. The entire Spurs squad now, certainly that second half 11, doing a warm down on the pitch. And just overall, I think it's just been a super enjoyable first game in charge from Thomas Frank. Let's see what you guys are saying in the comments. TSOM, good point here. Odebear will be given more freedom too. I can see us being relentless because we have options with Kudus, Tell and Odebear to just keep going at teams. That's right. More pace. Listen, Jesus, if we had an opportunity to play Kudus one side and Odebear the other, the pace will be absolutely ridiculous. Jackie Boyd Johnson says, get Wissa and sell Son. I don't want to... Listen, Sonny didn't have a great game, but I'm not going to end his Spurs career here. I'm just not. Sonny is a legend of the club, and he just looks tired. He just looks, like it's his first rusty game back. Haley Sarah says, Vuskovic had Vicario's back. Yeah, he did. Francis, bit of less positivity here. Son played poorly. He looked unwell. Hope he gets well soon. Kudus is always intact. His future is promising. Yeah, Kudus looks just like a real player. Jed Spence didn't have the greatest game, but he is the kind of player you can imagine that if he's rusty and he's not starting, he never really likes it if he's not starting, does he, Jed Spence? Machina Joe says, Spurs need to put a big buyout clause on Vuskovic, like those Spanish buyout clauses, £250 million. It's a bit early, guys, but yes, an unbelievable start for Luka Vuskovic. And a little kid just came out of the crowd there to ask for Mickey van der Ven's autograph, and Van der Ven is going back into the crowd to go and help him. I love that. C9 Manic says, not just the technical part of distribution between Vicario and Kinski. In my opinion, two of Lucas's mistakes were him being put in horrible positions by Vicario. I think it is definitely a conversation that will be being had amongst the Spurs staff. Kinski is a far better distributor. And yeah, you're absolutely right, C9 Manic. His little 5 to 10 yard passes are to the right foot all the time. And I don't mean the right foot as in right or left. I mean to the correct foot all the time of the player coming to get it, and it does make us a lot more comfortable. Vicario is going to have to improve. Oh, tell you what, Van der Ven just putting in a last-minute sprint there. That scared the life of me, just as like a warm-down. God, Vicario, what are you doing, Mickey Van der Ven? If his hamstring had twanged there after the game, I would have been so annoyed, but he clearly just wanted to put a sprint into his legs. Fair enough. It seemed to work okay. Lord Rodney Trotter says, Son has checked out. Don't be surprised if he already has a move in place. Well, Sonny, there is, of course, the reality that Sonny has to stay for sponsorship reasons for the Asian tour of South Korea. Interesting point here now. Matty Wells, the coach, on the pitch with Jed Spence, having a one-on-one with him after the game, just kind of doing this and pointing out moments where he made the wrong decision. There's a lot more kind of obvious one-on-one coaching under Thomas Frank and with his staff so far. I never saw any of that under Big Ange. And obviously we're not on the training ground, but there was nothing in the preseason games that we ever saw with any of that. So as long as Jed Spence takes that okay. He needs to, really. Tom says, good that you found the performance exciting, but I mean, not always the case with preseason. Yeah, completely agree. Totally agree. Godfrey says, I really enjoyed that workout for Spurs. I did as well. This is worth talking about. The Workers' Reading Room says, typical Brennan Johnson, underwhelming unless he's tapping one in. Yeah, Brennan didn't really get on the pitch today. He was on the pitch in the first half. He didn't really get involved in the game much. And you have to say, based on the second half performance of Mohammed Kudus, Kudus will be starting for Spurs this season over Brennan Johnson. Now, I don't know how much Brennan Johnson will like this, but Brennan Johnson, I think, could be an amazing finisher. Thomas Frank loves to talk about having finishers come on the pitch, by which I mean substitutes. He doesn't like to call them substitutes. The people who come on in the last 20, 25 minutes. Think about it in games where maybe we're leading and opposition teams are coming at us. Having Brennan Johnson to come on off the bench and run into those spaces could be really, really excellent. But let's see how Johnson again, Ole takes that, because his confidence should be high after scoring the winner in the Europa League final. Scribble Scrabble says, was smart of Frank to switch out two full teams, allowed him to see the most combinations in one game. Yep, completely agree. TSOM says, Johnson is not it. We saw it last season. I still think Johnson is just a young kid, though. He's a very talented footballer. There's still a lot of rawness to be grown from, I think. I think he'll still be a good player. Gary Rodell, good point, says there was lots of on-field communication today. Yeah, there really was. And I was very impressed with, dare I say it again, 18-year-old Luka Vuskovic talking to his backline all the time. A lot of young players, teenagers, they're just showing his finish again, like in front of the Spurs fans again as well. The 18-year-old just slots into the bottom right-hand corner. But often when you're a young kid coming into a big club, big team, you can be kind of overawed. But Vuskovic just talking to his backline straight away. Deary me. Spurs T-Rex says, back on the Vicario versus Kinski question. Vicario never did those short passes in Italy. He did absolutely brilliant long balls. Yeah. Well, he's going to have to do some of those short balls. Just got a new member. Thank you so much to Godfrey for being a member. I appreciate that. It's just £1 a month, guys, if you want to become a member. Really helps me make my content for you. All right, guys, listen, really enjoyed this watch along. Thank you so much for watching for the last couple of hours. Do give this video a like if you haven't already. Press subscribe, guys, if you want to come and join me for more watch alongs for the preseason friendlies, as well as daily Tottenham transfer content. More as it comes on the Morgan Gibbs White transfer as well, of course. Yeah, you can also follow me on the audio podcast platforms, be that Spotify or Apple Podcasts. Just come and find me, the Spurred On podcast. But listen, really enjoyed it. I'll be back definitely on Monday, if not before, with Tottenham news and hopefully some more signings. And be back with another watch along next week. Really enjoyed it. 2-0 to Spurs. Let's enjoy it. Come on, you Spurs.